Good evening, everybody. Got a packed house. Love it. Big things happen tonight. Welcome to August 26, 2025 School Board of Manatee County regular board meeting. I'm going to officially call this meeting to order. I have the honor of reading of our district vision and then introducing the invoker. Let me start with the vision. The school district of Manatee County will be an exemplary, student-focused school system that develops lifelong learners to be globally competitive. I want to introduce our invoker this evening is pastor from my church, Robert Bledsoe from Trinity United Methodist Church. Come on up. If everybody will stand, we'll also do the pledge after the invocation.
Let us pray together. God of grace and God of power, we gathered this evening with gratitude for the opportunity to serve and be a part of this community. We ask that you grant us clarity of mind and generosity of spirit as we engage in important discussions and deliberations this evening. As we consider and elect a new superintendent, may we seek a leader who embodies integrity, vision, and steadfast commitment to every student's success. Would you guide us to choose someone who listens, empowers, and honors diverse voices? We ask that you would bless our board members with diligence, humility, and hearts attuned to the well-being of students, staff, families, and our wider community. May all that we do and decide tonight and in the days to come reflect foresight and fairness and a genuine desire to foster an environment where all learners thrive. So, Lord, we ask that your Spirit joins us now, and all of God's people said together, Amen.
Thank you very much. All right, please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right, let's go ahead and move to item number 5, approval of the agenda. The chair has found good cause to amend the agenda to include all items listed under the agenda amendments on the August 26, 2025 agenda, updated August 22nd, 2025, and posted to the district website, manateeschools.net. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any change to the agenda? Seeing no board members lit up to speak, let's go ahead and vote on the approval of this evening's agenda.
I'm not logged in, so I approve, though.
Mr. Tatum is a yes. Ms. Felton, you're yes? Yes. She's still on? There she is. All right. And that passes 5-0. All right, moving on to approval of the minutes. Superintendent Chapman.
The superintendent recommends approval of the minutes of the July 29th, 2025 workshop, the July 29th, 2025 school board meeting, and the public hearing, and the July 29th, 2025 school board regular meeting and public hearing.
So moved. Oh, sorry. That's right.
All right, so moved.
Motion in a second? You said?
I'll second.
Seeing no updates needed from board members to the minutes, let's go ahead and approve those minutes from the said meetings.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes 5-0. All right, exciting times here. Student celebrations. Let's bring up Ms. Carson's. Come on up, and you can introduce our 2 celebrations and recognitions this evening. Thank you.
Good evening, Jamie Carson, Director of Communications. Today we are stepping up to the plate, and I'm going to bring all the baseball puns I can tonight to just get ready. We're stepping up to the plate to recognize a partnership that really knocked it out of the park this year. The School District of Manatee County and the Bradenton Marauders partnered and teamed up earlier this month on August 2nd to host our 2025 Back to School Bash, and what a grand slam it was. It's going to keep coming, I promise.
Love it.
Our students, our
If
families.
you can work Balkan, that'd be great. You'd be impressed.
I'm going to try. Our students, our families, our staff, and our community members came together to enjoy America's pastime and gear up to have a successful school year. Our teams gave out close to 1,000 backpacks to students. We had more than 30 local agencies on deck providing helpful information to the community. And we even had some big league talent that were throwing out the first pitch, the ceremonial first pitch, an even bigger superstar performing the national anthem. To cap it all off, our families and our staff were invited back this past weekend to the ballpark for some additional free tickets to celebrate the completion of the first week of school. This partnership between the school district and the Bradenton Marauders continues to be a home run for our community, showing how the spirit of baseball and the passion for education can come together to support our students' success. Tonight, we are lucky enough to have Craig and his team. Craig is the general manager here from the Marauders, to recognize our partnership and to say thank you for being a great team member and supporting the district.
Very good.
Good evening. Thank you. Really appreciate you having us. I don't have all the puns like Jamie does, but it really was a great evening to kick off the school year. We really appreciate the partnership, the collaboration. A lot of coordination went into pulling it off. We really appreciate all the team members that we worked with at the district office, and really appreciate the support. We have some of our team members here as well, so great to be here. And we do have a little photo for Superintendent Chapman to present to him. So if you want to come on up from his first pitch.
Thanks,
He
Craig.
did a great job.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Here's everybody. First pitch. And,
Awesome.
and then I've got something for you, too, for you and the team here. Presented to the Bradenton Marauders. Thank you for being a district partner and helping us to make the Back to School Bash a Grand Slam success. So thank you all.
Awesome.
And I know when I saw, where were we? Some big meeting, but we, the city of Bradenton, the Manatee County government, and many of our businesses and community partners are now ready to do this next year with us as well. So this is going to be an annual tradition of a back to school bash at the ballpark. So this is going to be really exciting. So thanks,
Absolutely.
Craig, and thanks everybody.
Sounds great. Thank you. Looking forward to next year, making it bigger and better. So thank you.
Awesome. Look forward to next year. Picture?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, hold that up too.
He's always moves on. That's nice that we do remember that.
Marty must have the night off. Is that
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Marty has the night.
And next up to the plate is Dr. Paul Gansimir, the Executive Director of Adult Career and Technical Education, and he is going to present to you some of our MVPs, our student champions who had great success over the summer.
Look at that.
Thank you, Ms. Carson. School Board Chair, school board members, superintendent, staff, thank you for having us here tonight. Tonight is a great night of celebration over many months of a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So tonight we're going to be giving notice to our national champions with our secondary schools, with our CTSOs, which is the Career Technical Student Organizations. To start off with, we have a slideshow for you as well if you want to follow along. So on the second slide, we have the list of our staff, because it takes more than just one person to do this. It really takes a whole village or a team to do it. So the team I have here tonight, of course, myself as the executive director. We have Dr. Jody Kirk.
Right behind you.
Jody Kirk, she's a director for Manatee Technical College. We have Kelly Kennedy, our assistant director for Career and Technical Education. And we have Christy Clark, who's our teacher on special assignment for work-based learning, which includes our CTSOs. So I want to thank our team for helping with that. So our first team is a TSA team. So on our next slide, we have a list of all of our CTSOs that we have. So we have about 7 CTSOs in our district. So we have FBLA, TSA, FCCLA, FFA, HOSA, Skills USA, and DECA. And each one of them covers a different program with our CTE programs. And as the students are participating in those organizations, they participate at a regional, and then they go to state, and then they can go to nationals. Some of them go to world and different things like that. At MTC, we have HOSA and Skills USA, so we don't have the other ones. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and give notice to our first team tonight from Braden River Middle School. So ladies, thank you. Thank you. So the group that we have is the TSA group from Braden River Middle School. And we have Ms. Kimberlyn Zinon, our principal. We have Christopher Brown, advisor. Jessica Lindberg, our co-advisor. And the team that went got first place at nationals, right, guys? Wow. So, and they got first place in mathematical modeling. Don't ask me. To me, I think of like Vanna White and a bunch of numbers, I guess, but I'm sure it's not that. So we have Ka Nguyen. We have Michael Yu, Samuel Moya, and Liam Rankin. So we want to congratulate them on their first place finish at national level. So congratulations. Our next group that we bring to you is also TSA. So our TSA from Braden River High School. So as they file in here.
Congrats, guys. Nice job.
So they had 3 different groups that participated. And of course, being a high school, some of the students are not here tonight because they've graduated, they're off at college, doing different things. We have some juniors here. So I don't want you to think that they all failed or anything. They didn't fail, they're good. So what I'd like to do is we have our principal, Wendell Beltler. We have Amanda Clark, our advisor. And then I'm going to do the best that I can with the pronouncing the names. So I've already practiced it 100 times, but I'll probably do it disjustice, so I apologize ahead of time. So we had biotechnology design. So this team went through regionals, got to state, did well at state enough to be able to get to nationals, and they have first place with nationals. And we have, oh, here we go, Satanya Kurakurula. We have Sheena Kurakula. We have Chloe Russell, Miguel Fernandez, Malia Ho, Hannah Tai, and Lauren Wade. So let's give a round of applause for biotechnology. We have a second team that went. The second team was for engineering design. And so on the team we had for engineering design, we have Addison Hartley, Sheena Kurakula, Francisco Martinez Lopez, Jackson Pate, Allison Perez Wazachi, I was close, Haley Carter. So we want to congratulate them on their first place. We have a third team who is an individual, and she's not here tonight because she graduated, and that's Joyce Chen for promotional design. So we present to you the Braden River High School TSA National Champions. Congratulations. Our next school that we present to you is Electra Lee Middle School. Also TSA National Champions, and this was for problem solving. So we have Kimone Cooper, principal, Dr. Rebecca Farrell, the advisor, and our students are Mackenzie Graham and Zoe Henson. And again, they went through regionals, they got to state, and they got to nationals. They're national champions, first place. Let's give them a round of applause. So in TSA, Manatee County Schools had an overall top 10 results. Out of 225 students that went, representing 13 middle and high schools in Nashville, Tennessee, we had 5 first place, we had 2 second place, 1 third place, 5 fourth place, 4 fifth place, 2 sixth place, 4 seventh place, 1 eighth place, 6 ninth place, and 2 tenth place. Wow. So that's a pretty good showing for top 10. Oh, yeah. I had some teachers say, well, can't we just bring our top 10? And I said, if we did that, that'd probably be a lot of people that we'd bring in. So we don't want to say that they've done anything wrong, and we don't want to not give them kudos. We just don't have a big enough building to bring them in. So we are talking about maybe doing it at the convention center next time to where we can give everyone notice. So we want to congratulate all those as well. If we go to the next slide, you'll see with DECA, we had 2 students and 1 advisor representing 1 high school. At the DECA National Championships, we had 5 students and 3 advisors for FBLA, which represented 3 middle schools and high schools. We had 1 7th place award and 1 Golden Chapter award. With HOSA, we had 6 students with 4 advisors representing 2 middle schools and 1 high school. So 1 got 3rd place, 1 got 9th place. And for FCCLA, we had 35 students with 2 advisors representing 1 middle school and 1 high school, and they participated in Orlando. And Skills USA, we had 2 students, 1 advisor representing 1 high school that went to the national conference. So we're very active with a lot of people going. Just because they didn't place in the top 10 and we didn't mention them, it doesn't mean that they didn't do a great job too. So next, we'd like to invite Manatee Technical College up. And again, we have our director, Dr. Jody Kirk. And for Skills USA, we have Colleen Maynard as our advisor. So with the students, obviously a lot of them have graduated. We reached out, we were able to get a couple to come in so we can give them notice, but it's important for all of them who are on here. So our first one for video news production, the teacher Abby Toole Plummer. We have Joseph Rousey, so we're glad that Joseph was able to be here. Liam Ali Rajibi, Micah Voss, Angel Ortiz. They received 2nd place at nationals with the video news production. So congratulations. We also had a team go for video production, and it had George Hamilton, Dylan Aguilar, and they received 5th place. They weren't able to be here tonight. We have CNC 5-axis milling programmer. Again, don't ask. I have no idea, but it has to do with the number 5 and something like that. Noah Morano got 7th place, and the teacher is Francisco Abusaid. For occupational health and safety, we have Robert Navarro, Wayne Kelly, Christian Ventura. They received 3rd place. Their teacher, Gil Berlew, wasn't able to be here tonight. Additive manufacturing, we have Tess Mayfair Drennan, Braden, it's supposed to be Messner, and they received 7th place, again, with the teacher, Gilbert Berlew. So we're very proud of Skills USA and everything they've accomplished, and we're looking forward to this year being even, having more students be able to reach the national level. Outside of nationals, MTC did very well at Skills at State competition. For Skills at State competition, MTC had 15 gold medalists. 25 students earned these as several were team events. We had 14 silver medals, which was 16 students, and we had 9 bronze medals, which is 10 students. MTC had the 2nd highest attendance at nationals with all the students that we took, and we're happy with that with our technical college. Next, we have HOSA, HOSA 2025 International Leadership Conference in Nashville. We had a top 10 finalist in phlebotomy. So we have Galilea Sanchez Velasquez here tonight, and we want to recognize her for getting 1st place, and congratulations. And our HOSA advisor is Dr. Susan Baruch. So we thank Susan for all she does too. So thank you guys. Go ahead and slide around. So we want to thank you as the school board, as well as I want to thank the administration here for the support of all of our CTSOs and all the students that we do. We try to make sure that the students have all the skills that they need, and by taking them to the CTSO competitions, it gives them a chance to be able to show off their skills. And it doesn't hurt to have a little competition, because it gives them that drive that they need. And also it can show them maybe somebody else is a little bit better than you, and maybe you can work a little bit harder and get yourself to be even better too. So we want to thank you for your support, but I also want to thank all the parents and the families. So if we can have the parents and all the family members please stand. We want to thank you for all that you've done for them. And I think we're doing a picture next. Is that right, Ms. Carson? So thank you very much, school board. We appreciate you supporting us.
You all, national champions.
Yeah, congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations, everybody. Nice job.
Well, John.
Repeat.
Yeah. Share where you got it from.
Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think they're just walking in circles. Yeah, it's just more and more.
Any parents that would want to leave now? Let the room clear. Thank you, parents.
Well, looks like all the parents. All right. It's always great to see the recognition and from our students, and we're full of national champions in Manatee County. And, it's great to that Dr. Gansby talk about so many being recognized. We don't have a big enough space, right? So maybe next year we do have to go to the convention center or something to get everybody in here. So
That'd be nice.
phenomenal stuff from the students. Especially from the teachers. Thank you all very much. And obviously, all the families that sacrifice time away from family time and getting their students where they need to be. Thank you all very much. And hope we get some repeats coming back next year. All right, moving us along in the agenda here, we have public comments. I do not believe we have any public comments still. No one signed up. So moves us to item number 9. Special item. New business jumping up here, no superintendent recommendation, which is the discussion selection of our new superintendent. So I want to thank the FSBA for giving me a script here so I don't screw anything up as we start this process. So first off, I want to begin by talk a little bit about the process of what we'd be selecting the next superintendent. The school board, we are faced with a decision of profound significance, one that will shape the future direction of Manatee County Public Schools. This is not simply a matter of leadership. It is the strategic choice that will impact the lives of more than 52,000 students and over 6,000 dedicated employees. In our role as representatives of the community, we are fully aware that our deliberations carry the responsibility of influencing the educational landscape for years to come. It is essential that our actions and decisions reflect a deep and unwavering commitment to the long-term success and well-being of our students, staff, and families. Board members, let us approach this important dialogue with open minds, thoughtful engagement, and a shared focus on what will best serve the interests of our students and strengthen the future of our community. So today's meeting will have the following 3 distinct steps. First off, we will review the superintendent search process as a board. Second, I'd like for the school board to discuss and vote on the next superintendent. And third, we'll provide an overview of the next step to come after our selection is made today. So before we get into discussing the process and our opinions of the process as a board, I do want to recap the entire process as a whole. Back in May 2025, Mr. Kevin Chapman was named interim superintendent. In June of 2025, the school board first met with FSBA to discuss serving as its search consultant. Later in June of 2025, the school board met during workshops with FSBA to discuss the timeline, associated activities, and held a pre-search detailed discussion of what the superintendent search would look like. The advertisements for the superintendent position ran from June 16th through July 16th. Out of those applications, 15 total received, representing 11 states, 11 applicants having earned their doctorate degrees, 6 current superintendents and 2 previous superintendents were among all the applicants. Public input was collected through an online survey and subsequently shared with all board members before the selection of a semifinalist. 4 semifinalists were named on July 29th. Public input was collected through our online survey and subsequently shared with all board members before the selection of our finalists. The 2 finalists were interviewed August 18th and 19th, first by the school board as a whole, and then one-on-one interviews the following day. The public feedback on the finalist interviews were collected through an online survey yet again and shared with all board members before this evening's selection of the superintendent. We did have a community meet and greet where the finalists went to Manatee Technical College on August 18th. Approximately 150 people attended to hear both superintendent finalists discuss their visions and personally ask them questions throughout that evening. We then had an online survey yet again for our public to give us feedback to the school board on that meeting and their overall thoughts. The final online survey was given to us, I believe it was yesterday morning at 7:30, bright and early. So appreciate that from FSBA. So board, first set of this process moving forward. I want to make sure we've all had a chance to review the public comments and everybody's in agreement. We have seen those public comments. I do want to, the first round here, just a discussion of the process as a whole, your feelings on the process, and then a general feeling of the finalists. I want to make sure both of these applicants get their due time, as I both think they did great. After that first round of us just sharing the process and kind of our initial thoughts of the applicants, second round we'll move on to board members possibly narrowing down who their finalists would be. And then as we go through a round of that, if there's a motion at that time, we'll entertain that. So I want to start with first. I'm going to go the same order we did before. So I think that was Ms. Felton, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Tatum, Ms. Spray, and myself. On just this first round of overall process, thoughts on the process, and thoughts of the finalists. Ms. Felton, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. If you are ready, you can go ahead and go.
All right, good evening, everyone. First, I need to apologize for not being there in person. We have COVID in the house. And out of an abundance of caution, it's better for me to be here than there. So I apologize to everyone for that, but obviously this is best I can do, so here I am. First, I really wanted to thank the FSBA for walking us through this process. The support from staff has been wonderful. I would have been completely lost without you. So just let me say that to begin with. I'd also really like to thank the Manatee Education Foundation for their support as well, assisting with our candidates when they came to town, feeding everyone, and just generally being awesome like you are. I'd also like to thank the public, because without you, this would have been a more difficult process. Your comments online, we've read all of them. Coming to the meet and greet to meet the candidates in person, all of that has been invaluable. The emails as well, some phone calls. I really, really appreciate all of your feedback, and I took all of it into account. And again, also wanted to thank MTC for the meet and greet, hosting the meet and greet. It's a great space. Everyone seemed to really function well in there, and to be able to speak with the candidates, and it was a really lovely evening. And then finally, I want to thank our candidates. Both Dr. Breslin and Dr. Mathis were amazing candidates. I very much enjoyed sitting down for our one-on-ones, getting to talk to you, getting to learn about you and how we will function as a unit. I can see myself working very easily with both candidates. You have excellent visions, prospective plans for the future, and I really enjoyed getting to know you both.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, I think Mrs. Felton said everything pretty well, so I don't want to, I'll just share a couple thoughts that are something to add, but I do want to thank the team at FSBA. We've worked together a lot in the past, but this is the first time we've worked together on a superintendent search. So, like Mrs. Felton, this whole process was new to me. So thank you for that guidance. You all were available at any time we needed, and the support you provided through information, through phone calls, we definitely made the right choice in selecting a firm to help us through this process. Yeah, I guess before we get into our choices, I do want to address both candidates. I have such respect. I cannot hold a candle to either candidate's qualifications or resume, so it feels I feel like a little bit of a pretender up here, deciding on who's going to be our next superintendent because they're both so incredibly qualified. Both of them. The preparation they put in for last week's interviews, the board interviews and the one-on-ones, really showed through. And I mean, I honestly, I couldn't do it. I couldn't put myself out there like that. To put yourself in such a public space, and then to have to wait for public comments to roll in. And wow, thank you, community, they did roll in. And I really want to give some credit to the Dr. Mathis's colleagues in Nassau County, her colleagues and her residents. Nassau is up by Jacksonville, and they really did a great job making their voice heard in this search. And obviously for Dr. Breslin, being a Manatee County native and Manatee Schools native, there was quite a bit of feedback for her as well. 99.99999% of that feedback was positive. So I will leave it at that. I do just want to repeat the thanks. That, Heather and Mrs. Felton went through a very complete list of everybody who helped us get here tonight. And I just want to kind of second that thanks. So I'll leave it at that for now. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you. Mr. Tatum?
Ditto. I could stop there. But Ms. Cox was also involved in the process, right? So, and I know that Danielle and Ms. Cox work together on whatever they do over there. So I'm sure that Danielle was a part of the whole process too. So really just ditto for everything that was said. I don't think we need to prolong this. I'll make my comments about the candidates once we get to the second round, but the thanks were given. The process was very good. It was smooth, worked well, lasted a long time. I've been through this twice now with the FSBA, so you guys got a good system going there. Don't screw it up, right? So, all right, thanks.
Ms. Spray?
I won't paint on everything that everyone said about FSBA. They've done a great job both times. I wanted to add Dr. Vogel in there and thank him for helping through this process as well. And the phone calls that I've had with Mr. Dye as well as going through the process was very supportive. So I'm just going to leave it at that and say thank you to everybody that was involved, every one of you.
I'll say ditto. No, I agree. Dr. Vogel, were mentioned. I wanted to make sure you're mentioned as well. So thank you, Ms. Spray, for mentioning Dr. Vogel to step up and help in the process. And obviously, Ms. Felton did a great job of saying, NPC hosting and the Education Foundation, everybody involved. But I do want to thank, just because it's a time and it was during the process, but not many people could have jumped in this role. And there'll be another time to say this, but what Mr. Chapman did for the district in the last several months, I do want to thank you with this process. You were kind of instrumental in being that person, last search, and to step up and as interim superintendent. You were part of this process just as much as anything else, having the district run as smooth as it did for the past 4 months. So I really want to thank you for that. And the board, we had 2 new board members going through this process. Agreed. I think we picked obviously a great firm in FSBA to help us along. But I think as a board here, we've done a really good job of starting from the beginning, getting it down to where we're now down to our 2 finalists. So with that, second round here is talking about those finalists. It's each board member's prerogative to say who you may be supporting or may not. You absolutely do not have to. We can wait till a motion. But we'll go around as a board again and give our reflections on the candidates and possibly who you may be supporting. until we get through everyone, and then we'll get a motion, hopefully. And depending on how many rounds, if we need to go through multiple rounds of discussion, we definitely can. So we'll start with this first one. Ms. Felton, if you're okay to start again.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, I feel a lot of pressure because I'm going first, but that's okay.
You can, if you'd like for us to select, we absolutely can. You want us to throw names
No,
up?
we're
I'm
good.
okay with that.
I'm good.
Okay.
All right. So again, both Dr. Breslin and Dr. Mathis were terrific candidates. As Mr. Kennedy said, they have terrific resumes. I am incredibly impressed with both of them, how hard they've worked. And sitting down again with both of them, I myself can see myself working very well with either of them. They both bring a little bit of different things to the table. They both have a little bit more different strengths. But generally, this has been a really tough process for me. The last week has been really hard, trying to figure out, well, who would I support more? So in that sense, we have to pick somebody. And so therefore, Dr. Breslin edged out Dr. Mathis by a little bit, most particularly because she's already in the district. She knows everyone. So I believe that she would have a quicker time, an easier time getting invested in the process and being in the role. But to be honest, I really could work with either one of them. And for whoever is selected, congratulations. Whoever is not selected, you are an amazing candidate, and I wish you luck in the future.
Thank you very much. Ms. Kearney.
All right, thank you. I also, well, let me just cut to the chase, then I'll do a quick explanation. But I'm also in favor of Dr. Lori Breslin. I told Dr. Mathis this during our one-on-one, but she is on her way to a superintendency in Florida or elsewhere, wherever it may be. Especially in the Monday, the full board interview. Her personal values really came out. Her skill set came out. And that's why I say she's on the way. She was such a strong candidate. But for me, Dr. Breslin, I'll just be frank, she was a front runner for me from the beginning. And when I moved to Manatee County in 2004, I was hired at Manatee High School over the phone, and I came to meet my new principal. And I walked into the office. School had not started yet, obviously, but I walked in, and the first person I ran into was Lori. And she was exactly the same person back in August of 2004 that she is today. She's incredibly smart. She's incredibly personal. She loves children. She's just a positive influence on wherever she is, whether it's a friend group, whether it's a work situation. She just brings that kind of professionalism and positivity everywhere she goes. I was then non-renewed at the end of that school year in over spring break of 2005. And long story short, I ended up taking a job in Washington, D.C., but I always wanted to make my way back to Florida, and I did. But one of the few people I stayed in touch with when I moved to Washington, D.C. was Lori. And I always appreciated, she recognized the good in me as an educator, even though she wasn't my boss or anything, but she would encourage me, like, stay with this. You have the skill set for this, stay with it. And just on a personal level, just being a friend when, over the years when you need that support. But on a professional level, I think all the board saw it, and the community that watched those interviews saw it. That skill set really came through in the full board interviews. You saw her intelligence, her empathy, her few decades of experience in the school district. I mean, she started as a substitute at Southeast High School, and here we are discussing her as a superintendent of Manatee Schools. So that to me is a really incredible story, and I feel I'm not going to do this justice, and I don't want to be melodramatic, but this is really kind of a historic night for. I didn't come up in Manatee schools, but I feel like I have some ownership because I've been here for a while. So those of us who feel that ownership in the school district, I think this is a really proud night for us. I don't want to count any chickens or anything yet because we haven't voted, but I will support Dr. Breslin to be our next superintendent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Tatum.
So it came down to me because they both the doctors there have the intelligence, maturity, experience, and personality to be superintendents. And so what it came down to me, what I had to decide upon was, do we want someone from outside the system or inside the system? And there are pros and cons to that. My experience in the Air Force when new commanders were brought into command organizations, I would say it was about 75 from the outside and 25 from the inside. And so I really thought through that, what would be the pros and the cons of bringing somebody in. I won't go through all of those. A couple of them are obvious. Obviously, if someone comes from the outside, there are two benefits to that. Number one is that they're not stuck in the way of doing things, that everybody's doing it this way within the organization. New ideas flow into the organization. If there are any kind of cliques or personalities going on within the organization, those can maybe be broken up a little bit, but with a new leader at the top. The benefits of having somebody within the organization are that, as Mr. Kennedy mentioned, there are a lot of relationships already built within the school system and also within the community. And based on where we are after the departure of Dr. Weissong, the ability to have quick relationships built in the community and to start right off the bat with solid relationships built with the school system employees as well as with the community at large, since Dr. Breslin has been with our community for so long, has me weighing in favor of Dr. Breslin, and so that's who I'll be supporting. But I know Dr. Mathis is watching, and I would like to echo Mr. Kennedy's comments that you have what it takes to be a superintendent in Florida or probably anywhere else in the country. And this was your first rodeo, but I hope you learned a lot from the experience, and you definitely need to keep pressing forward because you will be a great superintendent somewhere in some school system, either in Florida or in the country. So I'll be supporting Dr. Breslin. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Spray.
Okay, I'm probably more the math person, but when I was going through everybody's resumes, I did a scoring system. Required qualifications and preferred. So if you got a 2.0 and a 4.0, you met everything that we put out there for those things. The one thing that Dr. Mathis fell short on was just a student. There was only like 12 or 14,000 students, but she scored high. That's why she made the finalist here. Dr. Breslin was the one that got the perfect score for me, a 4.0, a 2.0, 4.0. She met everything that we put out there. And the feedback. You have to look at the community feedback, which I did. And you know, from the first time around, it was 69.7 in favor of Dr. Breslin over the 4 semis. And then even this past survey, there was more responses in favor of Dr. Breslin. Went through the timeline. I went through everything. And I read every comment that people made. Some, unfortunately, are pretty bold behind a keyboard. And I discount those negative comments totally. During my interview with Dr. Mathis, when she came before us, she said she elected to do a appointed superintendent opposed to an elected. And during my one-on-one with her, I shared with her that she has the goods to go for the elected if this doesn't work out for her. So I encouraged her to do that, and it sounds like she has a lot of community support in Nassau County. So Nassau, if you're listening, you got a great person that's coming up through the pipeline. So this board member has made a new friend. That's the way I feel about Dr. Mathis. And she's more than welcome to come here if she ever wants to move and come up through our pipeline. She's just a overall good person. And her values did shine through at the whole board meeting. So, but I lean toward Dr. Breslin simply because she does have the roots, and I think she's going to be tremendous. She's going to be hitting the ground running, and we're all going to, I hope we're all going to be supportive of her. I think she has everything that we need for our district to continue our forward motion. So I'll be supporting Dr. Breslin.
Thank you very much. Much to what everyone is saying, I completely agree with. I think when you look at both Dr. Mathis and Dr. Breslin, I think it was Mr. Dye. I think we talked about they're almost identical. I mean, the way they came up through the system, the positions they had through education, amount of time in education, should they almost look the same. There was just a lot of similarities between the two. And I don't think it was a coincidence that our two finalists were so close to each other in the way that they've gone through education and got there. I don't think that was a coincidence. I think we were looking for someone who's, at least I was looking for someone who has been at every level of education. So they know what it's like to be a principal or an assistant principal and a teacher in the classroom. They know what it is like to take being a director of an actual unit inside the here downtown in the district. And so they were very, very similar. I think the only difference was one was from Nassau, born and raised, and one was from Braden, Florida, Manatee County, born and raised. And I'm not going to hide my love for Manatee County. I've said from the very beginning, being appointed 3 years ago, that I want Manatee County to be the best. I want everyone to say, where am I going to live and play and grow my family, my kids, etc. I want them to think of Manatee County. And the only way we do that is to have the best people in every single spot, and we can only control here the school system. I don't think we could go wrong either way. And I think Dr. Mathis will have her time. There's no doubt about it. I agree with the board's sentiment. Unfortunately, it's not today, and it's not here in Manatee County, because I will be going and definitely supporting Dr. Breslin. And I think that this is, Mr. Kinney kind of brought it up, and it was actually really good. I think this is a special time in Manatee County. I think there's going to be students, hopefully today, like Miss, I was about to say Lori and about to say Miss, but she's a doctor. Like Dr. Breslin was X amount of years ago, and I'm just going to leave it at X amount of years ago, because I wanted her to like me. And so that she was a student right here in Manatee County. And fast forward, and now she's leading Manatee County School District. And I want every student, male, female, doesn't matter, to know that you could be potentially leading your own homeschool district if that's where you want to go and aspire in life. And like Mr. Kearney said, it's not easy. This job is not easy, and kudos to both of them. But I will be supporting Dr. Breslin, and look forward to the many years that she will be our superintendent potentially after a vote. So with that, we've got Ms. Spray on the board.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it looks like we have a pretty solid consensus, and that I'd like to make the motion that we offer the position of superintendent to Dr. Lori Breslin, and authorize contract negotiations to begin and led by our chair and Attorney Dye.
So we have a
Second.
motion on the floor,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Felton. Board members, any discussion? I don't see anyone lit up to speak. I think we've all kind of said our piece. So let's go ahead and vote on the motion on the floor. The school board offer
Aye.
position. Position of superintendent to Dr. Lori Breslin and authorize the contract negotiations to begin led by Chair Choate and Attorney Dye.
Congratulations.
And that passes
Congratulations.
5-0. Congratulations, Dr. Lori Breslin. We're gonna take a quick 5-minute recess. I'm actually gonna go out and get her and bring her in. So don't go anywhere. She's gonna come in and say a few words for us. But I also want to call Dr. Mathis and give her congratulations and thank you for the process. So we're gonna take a 5-minute recess and we'll be back.
There we go.
All right, welcome back. And exciting times. We have our next, our newest superintendent, Dr. Lori Breslin. If you want to come up and address not only here, supporters here, but also the public as your first time.
Thank you very much. First, I just want to thank the board for putting your trust in me. It means so very much, and to Mrs. Felton at home as well. And I want to echo your thanks to Mr. Chapman, who has done an incredible job seeing us through this summer and for this time. So thank you very much for all of your work. I want to thank those at home in the community for their resounding support, my family. I had many people that prayed with me and for me. It just so happens my pastor is in the room tonight, and so I thank him as well. This is my home. It will forever be my home. I will retire here in Manatee County, and so it means very much to me to see our school district be all that it can be. So we're going to go forward with that momentum, Manatee, and build on our success. We have work to do, and we have a fantastic team sitting back here in the audience, and those watching from home who have sent numerous text messages already. We're going to get to work. Tomorrow's a work day. We'll be back at it, and we'll continue to work hard for this community, for our staff, and for our students. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Picture?
Um,
Do you want to do the picture now?
all right. We can, she's not going anywhere. I'm sure she's staying for the meeting. We can do it after.
Are we allowed to make comments to her?
Yeah, sure. No, absolutely.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Dr. Breslin.
Dr. Breslin.
She's already in bargaining.
She's already in bargaining.
We've already, I think we've got our deal, so I think we're good.
All right, get it done. Can we vote on that tonight, Mr. Chapman?
Yeah,
That would
that's
make it
it.
a lot easier, wouldn't it?
That's all it
Sure
took, I
would.
guess, so.
I'm in favor of that. Absolutely.
I just had a couple comments for you, Dr. Breslin. So I thought about, obviously, you taking what I call command of this organization. It's 6,250 people. I looked at, as I was looking at some numbers today, it's bigger than the county government and Tropicana combined. It's got we apparently have a bigger budget than the county. The county, I think, is about 1.4 billion, and we're about 1.7 billion. What an extraordinary privilege, right, for you to be able to do this in the county where you grew up and everything. So the snarky part of me, as I said to the FSBA, says don't screw it up, right? But the more thoughtful part of me, as I was thinking about that, I'm reminded of Saving Private Ryan. And so I think we all know that movie. I won't go through the story, but in the last scene, remember Captain Miller, who was the head of the squad that went out and found Private Ryan and accomplished their mission. He gets fatally wounded, and the last person that he's talking to is Private Ryan. Do you remember what he says to Private Ryan? So Captain Miller's sitting there, he's dying. He's about out of force, he's about out of breath, and he grabs Private Ryan's jacket and he pulls him down so he can get his mouth up to his ear, and he says, "Earn this. Earn it." Right? I mean, what an extraordinary privilege you're being given. So don't screw it up and earn it, okay? Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. Dr. Breslin, I know you're not going to screw it up. So, but that's, I do love that movie, especially as a history person. No, but I just want to share a quick anecdote with you that I haven't had a chance to tell you. But at the MTC, the community feedback or community forum last Tuesday, I walked in a couple minutes late. You were speaking, so I didn't hear what you said. So I was kind of hanging out on the side. But I looked across the way and I saw your mom. And as soon as Dr. Mathis stopped speaking, I made a beeline for your mom. And as I walked up to her, I said, "Can you believe this?" And she was like, "No, I can't." And it's just, it's not a surreal moment because this completely makes sense. But I know your parents and Todd and your boys and your extended family and this community and this team sitting in the room. There's just so many people in this county who are so proud of you right now. And I can't speak for all of them, but we are all so proud of you and looking so forward to seeing what you're going to do with this district and how you're going to lead this district, because I know you're going to do it with integrity and positivity, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Absolutely.
Congratulations. You've had quite the journey in Manatee County, and it's being recognized this evening. Your commitment to not only the county, but the district and to the community overall. The support you've gotten throughout the community. I don't think I went to a single event in the last 3.5 months or however long it's been that your name didn't come up. I hope you support. I hope you support. And I'm saying people in cafeterias and people in government all around, business owners, small business owners. Everyone had such great accolades for you. So I don't see anything but moving forward. We've had our one-on-one. You know what my personal goal is for our district, and I'm sure it's shared with other board members. So I think we have a unified vision, if you could just say that, a unified vision to what we want out of you and out of our community. Because all the students, 20% of the population are children, but they're 100% of our future. And I think you're going to take our students into their future. So thank you. Mm-hmm.
Laura, did she have anything to say? Ms. Felton? Okay. Ms. Felton, do you want to say anything?
Oh, sure. Why not? Dr. Breslin, I already texted you, but I want to tell you congratulations. I am so proud of you. I know you will do great things. I hope you're not crying right now in front of the board. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in person and congratulating you in person. I know you're going to do great. I have absolute faith in you. And congratulations again.
Thank you. There's no crying in superintendenting.
And baseball.
And baseball.
There is, Mr. Chair. There is crying.
Touche.
He speaks from personal experience.
Touche. I'll ditto what everybody said. I'm super excited, and we couldn't have gotten a better superintendent. So I'm ready to continue our success and take us even further. As they say in the trading world, to the moon, right? So, thank you all again, board members. Appreciate it. And so, moving on to item number 10, reports and presentations. Mr. Jensen, you are coming on up. Focus on early literacy, 25-26.
Hey, Derek.
It's not warm in here, no?
A little bit.
Warmer in here?
Yep.
than usual?
It always gets
It
a little,
is.
as the night goes on, it gets a little warmer.
I don't even have my heater on. That's unusual for me.
That is unusual for you.
Well, good evening, Chair Choate, board members,
Good evening.
Good evening.
Superintendent Chapman, for a little while longer. Obviously, that's a hard act to follow, but I think I brought the right team to continue the positive energy of tonight.
Indeed.
We have Allison Nichols and Dr. Vanessa Marasco from our elementary curriculum team. They're here to share with you some updates on some really positive outcomes from our summer reading programs with students, as well as a lot of the work we're doing around turbocharging early literacy with an emphasis on third grade reading in the district for the 25-26 school year. So I'll let them take it away.
Good evening, Chair
evening.
Choate, board
Good evening.
members, Superintendent Chapman for now. So thank you for having us. Before we get started, I believe this is the first time that Dr. Marasco has come with us to present. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of
Welcome.
background on her. So Vanessa is our ELA coordinator for elementary in the curriculum department, and she grew up in Manatee County and began her teaching career here in our schools, where she developed a deep passion for education and student success. She holds a doctorate in curriculum and instruction from the University of South Florida and a master's degree in reading education. Vanessa worked as a coordinator of the clinical education department and an instructor at the University of South Florida, where she was responsible for coordinating interns in the teacher preparation program, and she taught undergraduate and graduate level education courses there. And then for the past 4 years, I have been blessed to have her as my ELA coordinator, where she has truly been helping move our students forward with ELA achievement. And one of those big roles that she has, as you're going to see in the presentation, is helping coordinate and support our 3rd grade summer reading camp. So her and my other ELA specialist, Nicole Craig, have really taken the lead with those programs and have done a phenomenal job. So,
Welcome.
thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
So this is just a quick refresher on 3rd grade retention. We know, the board knows, everybody knows that it is a state mandate that 3rd grade is a retention year, and that they have opportunities during the year to meet promotion requirements. Obviously, one of those is on PM3 FAST on ELA in May. But in that bold, the dark blue font, that was added in statute language, where now students who do score that level 1 at PM3 on that state assessment are provided now an additional opportunity to test in the summer on FAST. So it is not a retake, it is actually an additional chance on that test to meet promotion requirements in the summer. And this year, the state's window was in July, and so we administered FAST again. So just some really great news from this summer, our 3rd grade retention numbers. So we do have a comparison on the slide. So that top chart is from summer of '24. So you can see there that we we had at the end of the school year, 583 students retained, which was 16% of our total number of 3rd graders that year. After summer reading camp that year, we did not have summer FAST as an option. So we had STAR reading that we administered, and that is a state-approved alternative assessment. The students have to score at the 50th percentile or higher to meet that good cause promotion criteria. And then that summer, we also gave SAT-10, which is also a state-approved alternative assessment, but that they have to score the 45th percentile or higher to meet that good cause promotion. So after administering those 2 assessments, we ended up with 516 students retained, which was 14% of our 3rd graders. As compared to this summer in 25, at the end of the school year, we did have a few less retentions. You can see we started with, which was still 16%. But the game changer this summer was that we were able to administer FAST again. So FAST, they have to score that level 2 or higher, right? So that criteria is here versus a 50th percentile on STAR is a higher expectation. So now we actually had something that maybe was a little bit more attainable for these students. And we now have actual apples to apples comparison from May at the end of the school year to the same test being taken again at the end of summer. So with that, we saw great success, and we were able to reduce our retentions down to about 385, so which reduced it to that 11% of our students being retained at the end of summer.
Check and ask a quick question. Allison, just based on what you said there, are most of the 3rd graders that end up advancing over the summer, they're doing it with another opportunity at the FAST test?
All of them. Mm-hmm.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they have to either meet a good cause, typically good cause 3 in the summer, which is the alternative assessment. So they'd have to score, we gave STAR in the summer at the 50th percentile or higher. And so they had that option. We actually gave them 2 chances in the summer. So they took STAR, and anyone who scored the 50th percentile or higher, we had 33 students. They were good cause promoted to 4th after that assessment.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the very last week of summer reading camp, for any student who still hadn't met good cause promotion, we administered FAST again. And so then we had 140 students who met that level 2 or higher on that test.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Yep.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
And so just to drill down a little bit more, so we had a total of 366 of our retainees from May who attended summer reading camp. And so of those 366 who were in attendance, 46% of those students were either good cause promoted on STAR or straight promoted based on FAST at the end of summer. So this is a huge accomplishment. I want to thank the teachers and the summer reading camp staff. So for the first time, we actually, again, like I said, had apples to apples comparison where we could see, is the curriculum that we were implementing, is the instruction that we had with these really high quality teachers, what impact was it making on our students? And we saw a very positive result from that. So, kudos again to the teachers, the paraprofessionals, the schools. Everybody just worked so hard this summer, and we got some really high quality instruction for these students this summer.
Oh, so my apologies. My question was right on your slide. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Quick question, maybe a couple. So is this just offered for the students who didn't pass the FAST?
Summer reading camp?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So we invite any student who did not, well, yes and no. Any student who did not meet a good cause promotion, so one of the 6
Right.
options from the state, or they did not score that level 2 or higher on PM3 on FAST, they are invited to summer reading camp.
Okay. So it's not necessarily to try like accelerate them moving forward to 4th grade, other than trying to get them past that level. So there's no like 3 and 4s going just to reinforce skills
Yeah.
and things like that.
No,
Okay.
yep, it's solely just for those students who did not meet those promotion criteria.
Okay. Thanks.
So now we're going to share with you a little bit more about that summer reading camp structure and curriculum. So across 21 days, our students get 5 hours of reading instruction. So during that time, our teachers offer 2 explicit and systematic phonics lessons within that school day. So those phonics lessons are designed specifically to help close those gaps that our students have as they're coming into summer reading camp. While at the same time, we have an equal focus on presenting our students with grade level text and still rigorous expectations every single day with the reading benchmarks. We have a daily practice of writing in response to reading, and then each day the students practice their FAST style questions. So they're taking what they're learning within the classroom and then applying it to what it might look like on FAST. So we have also a repeated reading routine that we implement every single day. The students are building their fluency with that repeated reading routine and building up their reading comprehension skills within that time. For summer reading camp, we're required to have highly effective teachers in our classrooms that are either reading endorsed or reading certified. So as Allison said, we really do have wonderful teachers at our summer reading camp that we believe have helped contribute to our successes. In addition to be highly effective in reading endorsed, they're also recommended by their principals too. During that school day, our teachers they provide a daily read aloud of a chapter book. The students have that book in front of them. We're able to follow along. And this part is really critical to our day because it is an opportunity for our students to build this love of reading and to really feel success and build their confidence in finishing that chapter book throughout that day too. So to play on that motivation and confidence that we want to build during summer reading camp, we wanted to share this message with you, and I'll summarize it a bit. We received this message from one of our summer reading camp teachers. She said she had a student who came into summer reading camp, very sweet child, that had this lackadaisical attitude about summer reading camp. He said, "My brother didn't pass 3rd grade. It'll be okay if I don't." And the teacher did everything she could to really motivate him to do his best throughout the summer and to build his confidence. So we fast forward to the end of summer reading camp when he's taking STAR reading, and the student took his time on STAR reading, so much so that he used his extended time, had to finish at the office. And when he came back, he said to his teacher that, I think I did okay, right? Wasn't that bad? And the teacher already knew he had passed. So told him, well, you passed 3rd grade, you're going on to 4th. And he paused and then immediately started bawling. He said, you know, my brother calls me dumb, and I didn't think I would ever pass third grade, and he couldn't believe he had passed. So it's moments like that that we are so happy to celebrate, that our teachers are able to not only help the students be successful and move on to fourth grade, but to also build their confidence and give them that motivation going into the next school year.
Okay, so another
Before we jump to the next, to VBK, so, a couple questions on, number one, I know we said like 368 students came. That's not all of them, right, that didn't pass, that were gonna have to be held back, or didn't pass, you know, to go on to fourth grade. So number one, how do we communicate to families? You've got this summer reading opportunity, you know, summer camp opportunity to maybe, you know, continue to that. Is there transportation? I'm assuming no. There is transportation. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
And then the third question is that you all may not be able to answer this. Mr. Jensen, you may too. If not, kicking it over to you. And Ms. Sellers is there in the back as well. How is this funded? Because they're not teaching for free over the summertime. So I've already got the transportation one answered, which is great. So how do we get them involved? How do we make sure the other students, and are we turning away students? I'm assuming no. So how do we make sure all of them get them, and then how is this funded?
So our schools, well, we start really honestly, as soon as we know a student is at risk for retention, which starts right after really PM1 of FAST, we notify families. They get a letter saying that, you know, at this time your child could be at risk for retention. Here, you know, here's things that you can do at home. Here's things we're going to continue to do. And they have that monthly monitoring. And then again, after PM2, the schools communicate again. There is a letter again that goes home to families. And then at the end of the year, once we know for sure who is being retained, there is a letter that goes home inviting the family of the student to send the child to summer reading camp with the location that the child would attend, all the initial information. Schools also do a really nice job. They truly go above and beyond and make phone calls home. I mean, the schools do everything they can to really try and get families to send their child to summer reading camp. So I think that we do a really nice job with that part. I do wish we could get more. We could get everybody. But we've actually seen more students. When I first started here in the district and I took over third grade summer reading camp, our numbers were lower at that time. I mean, this is 11 years ago at this point. But I've seen more students attending in the summer. So I think that's a positive that we can get more students to come.
Great.
And then funding, do you want to take that one?
Sure, absolutely. We used to have a reading categorical kind of set aside. It was categorical funds from the state kind of baked into the students' FTE. When a few years ago, when they kind of folded a lot of those categoricals into the BSA, that's when that kind of just got folded in bulk to the rest of the funding. However, as you know, every year you approve a reading plan that's prepared by Ms. Nichols and her team, and that's sent up to the state, and it actually still describes how we're going to use that portion of our state funding to support third grade reading, and part of that is that statutory requirement for summer reading camp. So it's kind of carved out internally, but it started its life as a reading categorical fund. It's kind of moved into just the BSA, but now but we still kind of carve it out as its own program in the school district and track it on that reading plan to the state. So we allocate money from that.
Awesome, thank you. No other questions.
Okay.
All right, so another program that we held this summer, and this was a brand new program that we held, was for our summer bridge. These are for our VPK completers. So VPK students who were in VPK during the school year and were completed that program. So just a reminder that this was new in statute, that districts had to offer this summer bridge for students who score below the 10th percentile or have a non-participation status or a failed practice, et cetera, on PM3 of STAR early literacy that they're given at the end of their VPK year. And so if you remember, I think we had presented this at a previous board meeting. We also had to invite and have seats for not only our district school VPK students who might qualify, but also for any private providers who had students who qualified based on that below the 10th percentile. And so here's some of our data from Summer Bridge. Again, huge success, and I want to thank the 3 Summer Bridge teachers, actually 4 because we had a job share, but the 4 Summer Bridge teachers and the paras and the aides that were in those rooms, as well as you'll see on a later slide, I'll talk more about the speech language pathologists we had and the behavior tech. But again, amazing work. And Jennifer Harrison is my K2 ELA specialist, and she completely put together the curriculum and trained the teachers for the Summer Bridge program and did a phenomenal job with the instruction and the curriculum for this. So with that, we had a total of 16 students in attendance. 4 of those 16 students qualified based on that criteria on the previous slide. And of those 4 students, only 1 was from our district schools. That was the only student we had that was below the 10th from our district schools. The other 3 came from one of our private providers. So the teachers administered the core phonics survey at the beginning of summer and at the end. And so based on that core phonics survey, in the 5.5 weeks or 25 days of instruction, the students on average gained 9-letter names and 6-letter sounds, and which is huge in that short a time. So the Institute of Health had an article where they referenced that during like the Early Reading First initiative, there were benchmarks that were set that by the end of a pre-K year, students should know about 16 to 19 letter names, and that's in an entire year, so at the end of that whole year. So in 5.5 weeks, for these students to gain 9-letter names is pretty significant. So, yeah. And then beyond just the numbers, right, we were able to impact these students beyond just learning letter names and sounds. And so we were able to build those self-regulation skills. These children got practice with just, rules of language interaction. How do I wait my turn to talk? What does that look like? How do I share? How do I respect personal space? We worked a lot on fine motor skills because Jennifer was able to really bring in art and music and math and science and all of that into this. Even though our huge focus was on literacy, we were able to tuck in those other pieces as well. So they were able to use pencils and markers. They learned how to use scissors and got to use chalk. So just lots of different ways to build those fine motor skills.
Chair, if I could. I'm glad that you said about how to interact in the classroom. It's classroom etiquette. Mm-hmm. That's the best way that I can describe that, because we get kids that come in that don't know how to hold a pencil, that don't know how to wait their turn and to get in line and all of those things. So thank you for that. That's one of the things that I probably have pounded to the carpet with the staff about classroom etiquette, how parents need to help us help their student with classroom etiquette. So I want to thank you for the work that you're doing on that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then on top of that, so what's on this slide, these are all actually kindergarten benchmarks. So in kindergarten, they really, they have to learn how to retell events across stories and describe characters, develop understanding of the purpose of an author and illustrator, and then those print concepts, just front cover of a book, back cover, how do I hold a book, reading words left to right. So we were able to expose these 16 students already to some of those kindergarten benchmarks in the summer. And you can see those charts. That's some of the work that these teachers did with the students. And then on top of the literacy piece, Jennifer kind of grounded everything in science topics because we know often that science and social studies are the things that really draw our students in, right? So they did a lot with inquiry around science topics. So you can see the picture where the students, it looks like probably a whale shark, and the students got to see how many students it took lengthwise to be the same length as the shark. They worked on some early math skills. One of the days I went to visit, as the students came in, the teacher had little bear counters out, and they were different sizes and different colors. And so the students came in and they were sorting by size, by color, right? And having that oral language built around those math concepts. The oral language piece was huge, right? So especially through the science topics, they got to really build that science vocabulary, get introduced to some topics and things that they maybe didn't have previous experiences with. We had ELL students who came in speaking little to no English, that after the 5 weeks, they left and their English had improved significantly. And I know Ms. Felton had shared about the story at one of the board meetings here recently about a little girl who she wasn't even recognizing like her name when you called her name. And by the end of it, her English had significantly improved. The background knowledge is huge, right? Because we have to give these students experiences that they maybe don't have. So we're able to build on their experiences and develop that background knowledge, which will help them moving into their kindergarten year. And then they were able to also practice, we got them to connect reading and writing, right? So when they were reading, they did writing. We worked a lot on handwriting for that letter formation and directionality. That picture on the bottom right, so there was this amazing program that we purchased for this called Learning Without Tears. And so that is MapMan in that picture. And what MapMan teaches them is that all letters are made up of a big curve, little curve, a big stick, and a little stick. And so once the students understand that part, then that whole letter formation starts to make sense in their heads. And as they form those letters, they're also then able to connect it to the letter names and then the sounds. And which leads into that alphabetic principle, right? We did a lot of work on that connection of letters to their phonemes or sounds. A lot of work with phonemic awareness. There are studies out there that show that phonemic awareness is one of those big indicators on how a child will be as a reader moving up through 4th grade, even into high school. So if their phonemic awareness is weak, oftentimes those are the students who will struggle with reading, as they progress through their education. Writing their name, I think almost all of them left being able to write their name when a lot of them came in not being able to do that. So again, they're going into their kindergarten year with these skills already done, right? And then finally, we had family support. That was a big piece for us, that we wanted to do what we could to bring the families in and make those connections. We also were able to hire a speech language pathologist, an SLP, and a behavior tech for the month of June. And what was really amazing with the speech language pathologist is she was able to complete hearing screenings on every student. So in kindergarten, all kindergartners have to have a vision and a hearing screener done. So now these 16 students are moving into kindergarten with at least the hearing screening completed for our schools. So as Ms. Spray said, they got that introduction to the structure of a kindergarten classroom, because we really did run this more like a kindergarten classroom versus a VPK classroom. They got exposure to using Lexia, so we did use Lexia with them. So again, they'll have that experience moving into kindergarten. Our teachers had daily communication with the parents, and then we also provided for every family take-home bags that included books, things with alphabet practice, just different at-home learning activities that they could do at home. You can see in the picture, our teachers made alphabet charts for the students and then let them decorate them. And those were sent home for the students to hang in their bedroom so they could continue to practice their letter names and sounds after they left the program. And so as we were thinking about this and thinking about our goal with early literacy, Vanessa and I started to have conversation on, what did we feel like was successful this summer? What made an impact? And a lot of it all went back to that science of reading, right? So that we know the science of reading it's a body of work or a body of research that is constantly changing, because that is what scientific research is, right? As you learn more and as you research more, you evolve and you change things. And so the science of reading, it's a consensus of all these 4 different disciplines that you see. So it's not a program, it's not a resource, it's truly research that the education field had input on, right? So the educators came in as part of this research looking at, what makes sense in curriculum, what does a structure of a school day, how does all that impact a child's reading development? The psychologists were part of this, and they were looking at just child development in general, and how does that maybe play a role in reading development? The linguists looked at language, right? How does language impact this? But the big key piece here was the neuroscientist, and that's kind of this game changer with the science of reading. So the neuroscientists looked and did research on how a child's brain works and how the connections that have to happen in your brain to learn how to read. And I will quote Jennifer Harrison, because it was not me, I learned it from her. But she says constantly, and I hear her say all the time, that we are born with the ability to speak, right? We can do that. We don't necessarily have to be taught how to speak. We are not born naturally with the ability to read. That has to be taught, and we have to help those connections in the brain fire together to make that happen. And so that quote on the slide from Dr. Louisa Moats kind of sums it up, that learning to teach reading requires extensive knowledge and skills of word recognition, language comprehension, spelling, and writing. So it's a lot of work, and a lot of work in our students' brains to learn how to read.
And as we had these conversations, we turned to what can we replicate from these successes that we had during the summer to our school year, right? So that teacher training with an emphasis on the science of reading is something that we very highly emphasize with our teachers and all of the professional learning that we do provide for our teachers. A focus on that alphabetic principle and phonemic awareness in those early literacy classrooms, so that way they can develop these skills they need to be successful in reading. Another piece was that explicit and systematic phonics instruction daily. We saw that it was working with our students in summer reading camp. So in our K-2 classrooms across the district now, we have implemented this year UFly. UFly is an explicit and systematic phonics program based on the science of reading to help to build those foundational skills for our students, while also keeping this equal focus on that grade level text and rigorous instruction in our core instruction during the ELA block. And providing time daily for our students to write in response to what they are reading, to have opportunities to practice those fast style questions so they can be successful. And then also providing that repeated reading routine within our classrooms every single day so we can help continue building that fluency for our students. Which brings us to our next steps here with leveling up third grade. You can see on this slide it's a multi-pronged approach here. So we do have literacy coaches in all of our elementary schools, and we are so happy to have them there. And our goal this year is to build their capacity so they can support our schools and support our teachers and students. So we have a monthly coaching academy. During that time, the coaches get specific professional learning focused on the science of reading, but also on that UFly program we are implementing in our K-2 classrooms so that they can support teachers in that explicit systematic phonics instruction for our students. During Coaching Academy, we also facilitate data analysis of third grade data. We do it together as coaches, and then the expectation is for them to go back to their schools, engage in this data analysis with their third grade teachers, and think about how they can use this data to then inform instruction going forward. And then also for our new coaches that we've added to our group this year, we're providing an opportunity for them to earn their literacy coach endorsement through the UF Lastinger Center when they are in Coaching Academy with us. And this part will be really key because it'll provide an opportunity for our coaches to build their coaching skills so that way they're more successful at our schools. As I've already talked about.
Real
I'm
quick
sorry.
question.
Yes.
For the public out there, because we're saying like a literacy coach, that we're using that vocabulary. Can you just briefly explain like what that truly means, right? Like if I'm a literacy coach, what am I doing on a day-to-day basis to affect reading. I think it'd be important for like the public to truly know like what a literacy coach is, right?
Absolutely. Can I take it? Sure. Okay, so that role will be very focused on supporting the teachers. So we actually, as a team, came up with literacy coach expectations that we have shared with our administrators, so that way they would be clear on what the coach's role is. And so that is broken into 3 parts. How are they impacting the teachers, the school, and the students, right? And so most of their time throughout the day is going to be engaged in coaching cycles in support of the teachers. And so with that, and everyone can engage in a coaching cycle, right? Everyone deserves a coach, even our veteran teachers that are showing us their seasoned teachers. So our coaches would work with the teachers on specific skills that we might want to improve throughout literacy instruction, and they might go in and model, co-teach, slowly pull back and help those teachers improve their own practice and pedagogy in the classroom. Other aspects of their role in the school is to help with that data analysis piece and collaborative planning. So as we're meeting at grade level teams, how are we using our data, how our students are doing on our assessments to then modify our instruction going forward in planning. So those are some of the big aspects of the literacy coach's role within the school.
No, I think that's perfect. And I think it's that feedback, they become a partner with the teachers, that kind of thought partner, that thinking partner, that almost a cheerleader, right? That they're there and it's a safe person that I can be vulnerable with and say, I'm not sure how to do this, will you help me? And then that coach can come in and have those conversations, provide the feedback, have those conversations on, okay, what are the next steps? How can I help you help your students, right? So yeah, so I think it's kind of that cheerleader, that partner, but they're right there, rolling their sleeves up, doing the work with the teachers.
Absolutely. The next piece is that K2 Phonics Initiative. So that way we're offering 30 minutes every single day in our K2 classrooms on this explicit systematic phonics instruction to help make sure that our students have these foundational skills that they need to be successful in reading. We actually were lucky enough to get our K2 teachers in person at the Summer Refresh Conference and then August 5th for our UFly implementation training. So they would start the year off successfully with UFly, while also holding micro PLs throughout the school year to help support teachers as they are rolling out that UFly implementation as well. We had over 100 plus teachers on this morning for 30 minutes before they started their workday, just learning more about UFly. So it was really, really nice to see. Another piece of leveling up third grade here is targeted professional learning for our third grade teachers, right? So taking what we know from the science of reading to help build our knowledge of our teachers so they can be successful in their classrooms. That monthly monitoring of third grade data is going to be key this year. So our teachers will be administering the unit assessments from their core ELA textbook in School City. So that way we can all monitor as a district, school, and teachers that data for third grade students as well and be responsive to that data in our instruction. We are also partnering with Florida Tutoring Advantage to target 545 of our third grade students here. These students will have scored either a level 1 or 2 on PM3 last school year, so as they're going into third grade. This tutoring is offered during the school day, 30 minutes, 3 days a week, and it's actually synchronous with a live tutor on the other end of the computer. And it's specifically structured so that way the students are either a 3-to-1, 2-to-1, or 1-to-1 ratio with that tutor. And it's going to be targeting exactly where they need so we can help fill some of their gaps with their foundational skills. We're also hoping to expand the summer bridge opportunities for our VPK completers so that way we can set up more students for success going into kindergarten. And then we will be having our first ever Early Literacy Summit Conference for teachers in October that Ms. Nichols will tell you some more about.
All right, so we are very excited. We're going to hold our first annual Early Literacy Summit. Board members, you will all get an invite from me here soon to kind of save the date. So we are going to target pre-K through third grade teachers and our literacy coaches. It will be on Saturday, October 25th from 8:30 to 3:45 at Palmetto High School. We already have our keynote speaker secured, so Wiley Blevins will be our keynote. A little bit about him: he went to Harvard Graduate School of Education and earned his doctorate in education. He's an author, educational consultant, and researcher. He has written over 17 professional books, many of them around phonics, which is supportive of his extensive research and reading development, and particularly in phonics instruction. He's done a lot of research and is a internationally known researcher when it comes to phonics. So in addition, some of the breakout session topics we have so far, we're in the early stages of planning, but we will have sessions targeting the science of reading. We will have sessions to hit those 6 components of reading, writing, spelling analysis and instruction, and then we have somebody coming, a psychologist coming to talk about dyslexia. So that's where we are so far, but we are still working on our session topics as we are trying to make this happen. And with that, I think that is the end.
That was great. Thanks.
Yeah, very nice.
Does she have a question? Is that what that? Did you have? Ms. Felton, did you have a question?
Really, I just had a comment. As Ms. Nichols said, I was able to visit the summer reading camp and the summer bridge program this year. My favorite thing about the reading camp was seeing this group of kids who all scored low, working together and helping each other and teaching each other. And that confidence that helped build in those children who in a regular classroom may feel like, well, I'm not good enough. You know, I might get it wrong. And to be able to, you know, help each other and work together and be proud of themselves, that as much as their reading improved, I think that also really helped them a lot, to give them more confidence for when they started school this fall. And so that was really amazing to see. And I also wanted to tell Ms. Nichols and Dr. Marasco and all of your team how impressed I was with the staff, your teachers. The teachers told me that, yeah, this isn't something that's like, oh, well, I suppose I could do this for the summer. They'll fight for this job in the summertime to be able to do this and take the time to work with these kids. So it shows you it's not just something that they have to do, it's something they want to do. And that enthusiasm in the classroom also goes a really long way. So that was my only comment. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for your time.
Yeah,
Thank you both.
great job.
All right, so gonna move to item number 11, consent items. Superintendent Chapman.
Superintendent recommends approval of the consent agenda for the school board meeting August 26, 2025.
So moved. My computer's frozen, but I will make the motion.
I'll second.
My mouse is frozen. We have a motion and a second on the floor.
Thank you, Laura.
So let's go ahead and vote on the consent items. Approval of those consent items.
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. All right, moving on to item number 14, new business, non-consent. Superintendent Chapman, item number 1.
I was gonna ask for a break real quick before we.
The superintendent recommends for approval a new high school AAA agreement between owner and Schenkel Schultz, Inc., Amendment 1, in the amount of $1,176,648.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion and a second on the floor. And we have a comment, Mr. Tatum.
I just wanted to make the point that I think during the workshop when we talked about this, I know that we are paying an extraordinary amount of money that I don't believe that we need to pay to provide a good school. I won't go through all the math. I was doing it here on my paper before our meeting today, but truly we are looking at cost per student station of 2 to 3 times higher than what they pay at Lakewood Ranch Prep. And I even offered a budget twice as high as what the cost per student station was at Lakewood Ranch Prep. And you know, the laws, it's very clear if you read the laws that we have on the books right now that there is a desire from the legislature to start limiting us to how much we can pay cost per student station. If you remember during the workshop, there was some guidelines that I showed you. As of coming up in July of 28, unless you use impact fees, you actually won't be able to exceed that cost per student station guidelines. You get a little bit extra for some things that aren't included, but it's certainly not 3 times more than what we're paying for comparable charter schools in our area. So I would hope that maybe during a workshop, I could get my fellow board members to start looking at getting ahead of this law that's coming into effect July of 28, which will limit us to how much we can pay per student station, unless we're using impact fees. But if you're using any kind of other money to build schools, you won't be able to exceed those limits. And so it would be good to have a process in place to get ahead of that and revise the way that we go through the process of determining how much we're going to budget for a school and how we get it built, rather than just waiting for that law to come into effect and then having to do that on the fly when that day comes. So I just feel very strongly about this, and so I'll be voting no, just to kind of make a point that the time has come, I believe, where we need to relook at the process for construction and building our schools. I know we can build good quality schools for a lot less money, and I would hope eventually I could get the board's support in looking at our policy and how we do that. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
If I may, just
Sure.
dialogue with Mr. Tatum here a
Sure.
little bit. I totally get where you're coming from, and I'm in your corner. However, with the growth that we have experienced and the overcrowding that we have right now, we're kind of up against a wall. No pun intended, building schools, but that's where we're at. I agree 100% with you on by July 28, there is going to be a cost per student station cap, is what you're getting to, I believe. And I think we need to be proactive instead of reactive. And if you have documents that you could send to our clerk that can be sent to us about that law that's going to be coming down,
Sure.
I'd love to read that as well.
Okay.
But right now, I think we're just up against the wall on how many students we can accommodate to how many students. I mean, we had the workshop with 44,000 permits already given for new buildings or homes. And that's not counting the rush before the 100% impact fee it hits on September 9th. So we don't know what that's going to produce either. So we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here to build a school because we know it's coming. But I agree with you on a cost per student station. It's gotten out of hand in every district, in my opinion. I've talked to different school board members throughout the state, and they feel the same way we do. It's just a matter of maybe we just need a state to tell us this, because we certainly can't do it ourselves because we're trying to follow the law that they put on us, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They kind of constrict us in what we can and cannot do. What the charter school and community can do compared to the public, we're held to different standards. That's not fair.
Right.
And it's the same thing with the reporting. You know, it used to be a little unbalanced, but it's getting more balanced. So that's kind of where I am with it and why I am supporting the school to deal with our capacity issues.
And I'm not,
And the rezoning.
yeah.
Let's not forget the rezoning that we're going through as well.
I'm not against building a school out there, and I'm actually, you know, the people from the community who wrote us and said we would like sports and arts. I said, okay, fine, but let's find a way to try and build it at a much lower cost. And again, the price per student station in today's dollars for Lakewood Ranch Prep is about $30,000 per student station. And I offered $60,000. That would be $120 million. And that's twice as much as what it costs per student station in today's dollars. And I've talked to people who built charter schools who've said we can get a really nice school. But, you know, we could have this discussion back and forth. It's just that I just feel strongly. I know we could build a nice school with arts and a stadium for a lot less money if we would take advantage of the law that I read before, which said we can exempt ourselves from the SREF. And I know the point was made, well, we don't have time to go back and replan this school, but we have 2 years to get the thing open. You know, a little Manhattan project ingenuity out there. I think we could get it done. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for the dialogue, Ms. Braid. I'm glad to hear that hopefully we'll be able to work this in the future, and you'll support me on that. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'll second. I absolutely support, like I said during the workshop, to look into this more. I disagree with you though that Lakewood Ranch is just as good or nice as what we're going to build. I completely probably disagree with that. Doesn't mean that it's not nice, but I don't think they're the same. And that's all I want. I want to make sure that we're looking at apples to apples. I want to see what this looks like compared to that, that product. Those types of things to me are important. I think we do have to compare those apples to apples like that. But I definitely think we should be looking at how do we be as efficient and with the money we're given, whether it be from the state, from the taxpayers, or from people who build houses with impact fees. So I definitely think we should be doing a workshop, and that's something that we will definitely schedule to get deeper into those comparisons that you've brought up and really see what the differences are.
I appreciate that, and I'll make the point too that all the money that we spend on all these new schools is money that we can't use for things that we're trying to get ahead of for deferred maintenance, and there's an opportunity cost to that kind of stuff. Like I've been told for a couple of years that I can't, out at Lakewood Ranch High School, we can't get there's some drainage issues there on our $3 million track that there's dirt and sand flowing out to it, and the fencing around the stadium is not in good shape and needs to be replaced. And I've tried for 2 years to get that replaced, and the answer I've gotten is, well, we don't have enough money. It's coming maybe in the summer of '26. So I'm just pointing out that there's an opportunity cost when we use up most of our capital funds on building these new schools, that then there are things that we can't do with the schools that we have to maintain them in a good state. Actually, Mr. Delquist, even from Lakewood Ranch, told me, he said, well, that's all well and good, you're building that new school out there, but there's a lot of things within our school that's now when did that open? 1998, I think. 27 years old. That that there's just an opportunity cost. Sure. If you spend all your money on the new stuff, then you have to defer a lot of stuff that you could be doing to maintain the infrastructure that you have. So I appreciate you that we'll look at it and we'll see if we can find a way.
I do want to clarify though that the money we're spending on this new school is impact fees that we can't spend to redo a prior school's roof or whatever track. Those monies can't be spent on the same thing. So although I do agree with you about Lakewood Ranch, it is 27 years old, and I don't want us to forget about Lakewood Ranch building a new high school out there in that community. That school needs to be preserved, and when we look at rezoning and things like that. But the dollars we're using for the impact fees for this school can't be. We've added to Lakewood Ranch to combat the impact that we had there from the growth. This is the next step, is to build something. But I agree with you. I don't want to absolutely lose sight of all of our schools that we've had built prior, but we can't use impact fees to do that for that deferred maintenance.
Right.
That's got to be used from the 1.5 capital mill. And that 1.5 capital mill is not building this school. I want to make sure.
Right, the debt service is going to be used by the impact fees for the share of the debt with the next, if we have the financing for COPS on the new construction of the high school.
Of the high school, but some of our schools we used non-impact fee money that we built. Of the 5 schools that we're building, right? We use some non-impact fee money for some of that building.
Right, right, exactly. Some debt service is being used to pay some of the construction that's not new, and we are using 1.5 mil for other projects as well too.
Right.
Sure.
And we have to borrow, and plus we're borrowing of the $475 million that these 5 schools are costing us. We have to borrow $380 million of it. 80% of the money. So yes, we're using impact fees, but we could pay off our debt a lot sooner with a lot less money if we didn't if the construction wasn't so expensive that we had to go out and borrow, if we borrowed less money, then we don't have to use up as much money paying it back. We don't have to use up all those impact fees in that manner. But we'll talk about it at a workshop.
Ms. Felton, I think you're clicking on. I'm sorry, I can't
Oh,
see you. It's
I
only
was-
if I hear that little ding.
No problem. I was just going to second, actually, Chair, what you had said, that I am completely in agreement with Mr. Tatum that it is really expensive and we do need to look at this. But again, that we need to get this done. And I am all in favor of having a workshop. I believe Mike Penley said that he was in contact with the state folks in charge of all of the construction and was going to get us more information about the SREF and building codes so that we could actually see what it is we're looking at when we want to make changes. So I'm looking forward to that presentation when we get that information.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. See no other board members lit up to comment. Let's go ahead and vote on, I think we had a motion in a second, yes?
Yes.
I just don't see it lit up. There we go. On the approval of the new high school, the agreement of owner and Chico Schultz. And Ms. Felton is a yes?
Yes.
Okay. That passes 4-1 with Mr. Tatum as the one no vote. Can I go to, I know you're talking about getting a break. Can I go to item 2 and then we'll take a break?
Yep.
Item number 2 under 14 new business, Superintendent Chapman.
The superintendent recommends approval of new high school AAA agreement between owner and Gilbane Building Company in the amount of $522,340.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion and a second is on the floor. I don't see any board members lit up to speak.
Nope.
So let's go ahead and vote. I didn't hear a ding either.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ms. Felton is a yes. And that passes 4-1 with Mr. Tatum as the no. All right, so, yeah, we want to take a quick break here for another recess bathroom break. Let's go 7 minutes, 7:35. We will come back. We're in recess. All right, welcome back. We're moving to item number 15 under new business, no superintendent recommendation. Approval of the proposed revisions to the audit committee charter, which will merge the Citizens Financial Oversight Committee into the audit committee. I'll give this to, do we want to have legal first? You want to have one of the CFOC / audit committee members first? Talk about anything that changes, what we're looking. I know you guys have been working on this.
Yeah, I was going to throw it to Attorney Dye because he was really very helpful putting this draft together. But Ms. Spray is our liaison to the committee, so I think it's probably appropriate to start with you, if you don't mind.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I have my sticky noted copy, of course, and then I have the red line of the changes that have been made since I read this one, it looks like. So I will defer to the attorneys who wrote a lot of this for us. I appreciate the work you did on this to kind of merge the two committees. And I want to say to everybody that's been on the audit or the CFOC, it has been a struggle to get volunteers to commit. We're doing a great job with our finances. We have a good fund balance. I think we've probably have built on the trust of the community, but we also have an obligation, from the millage to have a committee to look at this. So I think that what I've seen in this draft, merging the two and opening up to the volunteers to serve on this committee won't be so limited on having a degree in finance. People who work in finance in other arenas other than the school district could have an input on what we need for the CFOC and the audit committee. We do have in here that we have CPAs, but we also have opened it up to other community people that have worked in finance. So I will turn it over to Mr. Dye to elaborate on the document that's in front of us.
Thank you, Vice Chair Spray and board members, Superintendent for the time being. So thanks for breaking the ice, Ms. Spray. So Board Member Kennedy really took the first swipe at this. And, the board, for background, the board has talked about heading this direction for quite some time, as it's become more difficult to get volunteers. And the two committees, were formed a number of years ago out of the somewhat out of financial crisis from 2010, that era, but also the other missions, some of them which are statutory, to have the auditor selection committee. The two committees had two different missions, divided up mainly between millage, the voted millage, and the additional sales surtax, but kind of perform similar functions to a degree of just making sure the funds are properly used for the purposes that the voters wanted them used for. So it's not unnatural to try to combine them, and Mr. Kennedy took the first stab at it, and then I went through his work and did a little bit of tweaking to it, but it was not too much. He did a good job. And this isn't like we're not saying, yeah, this is ready, this is perfect. This is just the first look that the board has at what we did to try to accomplish this concept. So the two charters are not that much different for the CFOC and the Audit Committee. So so it was really and Mr. Kennedy really started this, made the decision of how to approach it. I want to make sure you get credit in case it's a failure, you know. But no, what he did, and I thought it was a good idea, I'll get on board with you, was he took the Audit Committee charter and then added sections of the CFOC to it. So that's what this is it's the Audit Committee charter. And he came up with a name. I mean, it's I'm not taking any heat for the new name. So y'all may love it, but and then, you know, we have to hear from the committee too. But so one challenge is the Audit Committee had the really restrictive membership of being a CPA or having financial background in school. Finances, and that is very restrictive. And then the CFOC was more of open, open to really most people with board approval. So that's one of the bigger conceptual changes. But you know, it's probably going to be more and more it'd be more and more difficult trying to find just, you know, CPAs or retired CPAs or people that have been involved with school district financing. And really it's whoever goes on this committee has to be approved by the board. So, you know, a lot of different backgrounds could be valuable. People that have different experiences in finance, or, you know, you could even have attorneys or, business people, government, you know, people. So it's not to me, it's not a bad idea to open it up, but it's subject to board approval. So the board would look at the applicant and go that, you know, this person, you know, has some credentials that might be useful for this oversight. But that's one of the biggest changes. We were trying to clarify, you know, the two committees both after the board added the amendment to the CFOC, where the CFOC got more support, you know, auditing support. And that is incorporated into here, you know, with it becoming one committee, that we've tried to clarify, and it might need more clarification, but it tried to clarify that the role of the committee is not to audit, it's to direct the auditors, but not be auditors themselves, and not get too hands-on, but monitor, you know, direct the auditors of what you want audited, make that decision, and then review their work, and then maybe redirect them or whatever, give them input, and try to get to where what you want to accomplish. So we tried to make that clear, that the committee members don't do the actual legwork. They have the benefit of having these professionals do that. So we got the composition of the committee. So that's now opened up more. The size of the committee stays the same. Some of this stuff is just not changing. It's just conforming, adding combining the two committees. And you know, all the same mission is incorporated into this one committee, all the mission of the two committees, with the You know, even the cyber technology review remains. But the one committee now, you know, also has the surtax and the millage. So they'd be reporting to the board on both of those matters. And then the auditor selection stays, that role didn't get changed much at all. So that's about it. Open, totally open for comments, and
Okay.
this is the first draft of it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a couple things for me. I don't see anyone lit up to speak yet. Oh, someone just lit up. Sorry, Ms. Kearney, I'll get right
It's
to
all
you.
good, no problem.
You've had this document long enough. No, I'm kidding. I really do think, obviously, we've seen the last several years the struggle of getting committee members to come out for both of these committees, right? And I do think this is the right time to combine these committees together and form as one to then report back to us. I think from a efficiency standpoint, for the staff, for us, I think having one group, you know, go to RSM, who is obviously our our auditing firm that we've chosen now, and have them help with the millage, just like they are with the sales tax. I think we've all agreed to definitely that's definitely a smart way to do, and have the CFAC as a whole say, look, here's just like the audit committee has always done. Here's what we want you to take a look at, and it comes to the board. Here's what we want to look at. Take a look at those things. Look to see what they brought back in an audit standpoint. I think that there's a couple things. One, I definitely think in here, and if it's in here, I missed it. But Mr. Daniels and I were talking about this a minute ago. I do want to make sure that we keep a majority. Obviously, we don't want we're trying to limit this to not have all auditors, right? Because we can't find 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So we just moved it down to 3, I think a month or so ago.
3 to 7.
3 to 7, right? Mm-hmm. So that we could function, right? We weren't even able to functioning. So I definitely think that we need to open up for everybody, but I do think if there's 8 people, or 9 people or 7 people, whatever it is, I think the majority still need to be CPAs and auditing backgrounds. I'm okay with having, 3 non, 4 yes. But I don't want to get into a time where we've got 1 CPA, 6 other people on the committee, and we're struggling to speak the same language during meetings because the acronym's not there, right? Like, and I'll just be honest. I mean, I come from a finance background, but even still, auditing is a whole different animal. So I just want to make sure that we, when we do combine these, that there are some limitations on potentially on who we are accepting. I do, and maybe we need to make it more than 7, right? Maybe 7's too low. Maybe make it 8. Maybe make it. I think it said 3 to 7, right? Yeah.
Odd number needs to be.
So if it's 7 or 9, whatever, that way if there is like 2 other people that say, hey, we want to do be a part of the CFAC, then you're not 4 to 3. I think we have 3 right now currently. So I just that's a concern. So want to bring that up. And then besides that, I think there's always been a question from the CFOC side of, and this is since inception, to be honest with you. I think there is a, on what does it mean oversight, right? Like what does oversight mean for this committee to look at? And I think if we're going to bring professional firm in to actually do the auditing of this money, they are the professionals. We need to say, hey, we want to look at these reports, and they have those reports, get those reports, and that's the organization that we are paying a good amount of money to be this function for the audit committee, and we call this the CFAC altogether, right? No matter what they're looking at, the sales tax, the millage, or whatever other auditing, functions we agree with the committee to go after for RSM. I think the RSM has to be the one that is looking at these reports with the committee to say, here, the committee says we want report 1, 2, and 3, that they're going to go get that. I think there's always been this question of, well, an email was sent, we said this, and it was always just kind of, there wasn't a point person. I think the point person is RSM. And if that's not in this charter, like that's not what we're saying here, but if we need to put together like a SOP and say, and add that in here, that the CFAC is working with, and maybe we do, and maybe I missed it. I just want to make sure that we're paying this group, RSM, to come in and do stuff. I want to make sure they're doing it. I want to make sure they're the ones going to get the reports, and they're the one, dealing with staff, and maybe they can run reports and get things that we don't even need to go to staff for. You go right to RSM. And I would just want to make sure that's the objective here.
Yeah, it is.
Could I address?
Absolutely, yeah, please.
Yeah, so that was good feedback. So regarding the composition, right now with the audit committee, it's CPA or persons with a employment experience in school district financial operations. So that's what's actually in the audit committee right now. So you're saying you would like to see where the majority of the board has those qualifications?
Correct. They don't have to have a CPA. I mean, if Ms. Sellers, I don't know if you're a CPA or not.
I'm a CPA.
Well, dang it, wrong. If we had an old CFO from a school district said, "Hey, I'm not a CPA, but I want to come," we should be able to say yes to that because they had that background.
Right.
We had
I
Dr.
didn't have that great
Russo.
example. Yes, Mr. Great example.
And
Great
she
example.
was very knowledgeable.
Because she was a past superintendent, etc. So yes, I'm okay with what the verbiage is as long as we put like the majority in there. Just add that to what's already in the.
And the size is 3 to 7 because you want it to be an odd number.
Right.
Right.
And the way it's written, it can change over time as long as it's at least 3 or no more than 7.
Okay.
So any given point in time, it can be within that
range.
bracket.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just real quick. So do we want to make it 3 to 9? And I say that because if we do add in the majority of the group has to have a CPA or school finance background, and there's 3 of them now, 2 non. If you added 2 more, are we going to then sit there and say, "Oh, we can't add you 2 because we got to add the majority," or it's got to be 3 to 9, and we say we're going to add you, but we got to go find somebody else? Does that make sense? What I'm saying there? That
I've got an idea.
Fluctuating.
I've got an idea for you too on that, Mr. Dye, if I may.
Yeah.
On the second paragraph, I'm on page 1, composition of committee. Second paragraph could read something like this. The committee will consist of 3 to 7 members. I'll leave out the 9 question for now. And then add to that sentence, with a majority of the membership being current or retired CPAs or have previous education finance experience. So it kind of pulls from that previous. Chad, you were about to get there. Currently, we have 3. So to your point, and I think it's a good idea, just as you just said, we can only add 2 members at the moment. We're still in compliance with the charter because we have, we would have 5 members. 3 of them being CPAs or retired CPAs. I could throw in really quick too. Well, no, I have another point about the composition, but I'll save it for later. But I think if we add that phrase at the end of that first sentence, it captures what you're trying to do.
Yes.
And then.
But not the numbers still.
But we could change that same sentence to 3 to 9, and we're still in compliance because even if we just have 3 and then we can add 2 non, and we're good to go. And moving up to 9 gives us a little wiggle room if we need it later for membership. I would support.
I just
Or
don't want to say
deny.
no to somebody
Exactly.
who comes out and we've been battling for people and they come out and say, hey, I'm not a CPA, don't have that background in school finance, but I want to come and help. And that would be 3 and 3. Well, now there's not a majority. So then you're like, no, don't, because now we're at the 6. And you know what I mean? Like, I would just rather have a little bit of a cushion to say, yes, so-and-so, come on, but now we got to go find a
A
CPA, slot, you know what I mean?
to maintain that
Maintain the
majority.
majority.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'd support that. Did we edit to go 3 to
I mean,
9?
it makes it a little complicated, so I mean, we can say we shall try to keep majority. I mean, I don't know, because it does, obviously, it's going to put us back in the same boat potentially, that we're trying to go hunt down CPAs or someone with school finance, and we've had a hard time doing that anyways, right? So we may just be painting ourselves back into a corner
Yeah.
because we're adding that.
Well, it
Mr.
provides
Chairman,
flexibility to get bigger, but you don't have to.
Right. Right.
So you just keep an eye on it, but if you need to add somebody, you've got the ability to without making an amendment to the charter.
Sure.
So I think it's fine to move it to 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
if we were to be 4 and 4, we put a provision that the board representative to the committee would break any tie. We are a subset of the board. That committee member, board member, whomever it is, would have been involved in the
Sure.
negotiations, and if there was a tie, and then with 8 on, 4 and 4, that would seem to be a reasonable way to resolve.
Yeah. I'm
On the
okay with
spot,
that.
Charlie.
Yeah, no, it's a
If
good idea.
if there have to be 8,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I'm okay with that.
in the event of,
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we've been struggling to find 5 total. So I'm not saying tomorrow all of a sudden we're going to have 8 that want to be a part of it. But I think you do have to cover ourselves with the charter. So I would be okay with that. Yeah. And I'm okay leaving it at 3 to 7 if you guys are. Just, I do think that there needs to be a majority of the members should have that acumen. But
May I offer one more comment on that?
sure.
The Board of Accountancy and the Department of Business and Professional Regulation have recently started a third category of CPAs. We now have active, retired, and also what they call inactive. They're not in a retired status, but their certificates are essentially parked. It allows them to come back in, catch up on some CPE, and reactivate. Somebody that retires, they got to go through the CPA exam again. So, I mean, there's
Right.
different things, but I don't want to exclude those because a lot of them have had recent experience. So if we could make it active, inactive, or retired CPAs.
Verbiage, sure.
yeah.
I would definitely not see a problem with
That's
that.
really already, that's already in there in the first paragraph, about halfway down. The school board shall make efforts to appoint CPAs, parentheses, active or retired. We could just include the word inactive.
And again, the
in there.
status is relatively recent.
That's a great fix. Easy one, too. Mr. Chair, if I may, real quick. One detail that I forgot when putting this together originally, before I passed it off to Attorney Dye. Per the CFOC charter, which will now become inactive with the approval of this, but the president of the MEA and the president of AFSCME were kind of charter members of the CFOC. So I think we need to decide, and I apologize, I didn't think of this beforehand. Do we want to make them ex officio members or if they're willing to, that is. Obviously, we could set it up in a way where it's their choice if they'd like to be in, but if they are in, do we make them, like I said, ex officio? Do we make them voting members? Now that kind of complicates the conversation we just had because,
Yeah.
but I think we need to, deal with their status, mostly relative to the 1 mil, the annual 1 mil report. But
Would they qualify as independent? They're representing teachers as their a union rep. They've got allegiances.
Right.
I don't know that it has to meet the Florida Public Officers independence rules. I don't know that would do that.
it's a good question. Attorney Dye?
Yeah, I actually thought about that when I was working on it, and my thought is I don't think you need the ex officio, and that might have just been somebody's thought at the time. But it's a public meeting, and you have public comment, so they can always attend all the meetings and speak. So they don't really need to be on the committee, and be an ex officio on a committee, is that really got much of a point to it anyway?
Yeah, it's kind of symbolic. You know?
I thought it was kind of ceremonial.
Yeah. That's a better word. Yep.
So I don't know. I don't think it's really necessary, because they can attend all the meetings. They can talk to committee members. They can speak publicly at the meetings. So
Okay. I'm glad you thought of it, because I did not.
Were you done?
Yes, I am for now.
That's great.
No. Okay, a few things. I do agree that RSM would be the hub, basically, to get information for this committee. And the comment was made that the CFOC had support from the auditors last time around, but they did not. They did never even meet with them. It was always talked about, but there was never any real sit down, this is what we'd like to see meeting that happened. I do know that,
Because I don't think we approved it up until this year.
right,
Like, I don't think
Well,
we approved CRI doing it.
I
We approved when
understand.
we went to RSM, so this is the first year we'll do it actually with them.
I understand that, but when we were talking about CRI supporting that, the pitch at the time was there was money left over, and that money could be used to support the CFOC. That was the conversation back then. So, but it never materialized, and we're moving on now, which is fine. But the composition of the committee, the millage, if I remember right, the composition of that committee included community members, a community member or whatever that has been involved with the district. So I still believe that there should be a community representative on this committee if they choose to do that. So if we could add that to the composition. And I know that there was staffing that supported the CFOC when there was requests made. I don't know how that's gonna work out now. I guess that will be moved over to this committee to help support that. And then let me get to my sticky ones. I don't know if I should go, we're still on composition of the committee. I don't know if I need to get into the administrative side or
Can
not.
I ask you a question on that one? Real quick? On the
Sure,
composition?
sure.
Are you saying you want, when you said the commit, that you want a community person? Currently, we have two, right, on the CFOC?
Right,
So we combined, wouldn't they, if they want, I guess.
right, that's what
We're
I'm
being
saying.
assumptuous. I don't know if they want to do it. But if we combine them, they would come over, right?
Exactly, but it does not say in the composition of the members, any community member.
I mean, by definition, aren't they all community members?
Well, yes, but they don't have CPAs or
Right.
they don't have the financial background.
Well, that's where we'd say. Yes,
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
See
And
what
that's
I'm
where we would
saying?
say if we said majority,
Right,
then we would know that there were 7 people, 4 had to be CPAs, 3 community members, normal.
okay.
Well,
I
say
just
normal,
want to
that's
make
weird.
sure that,
It's not the CPAs restrained.
right,
But yes, I see what you're saying.
right,
absolutely.
that
I see what you're saying.
right,
Yeah.
that the lesser of the committee, the non-majority, would be,
Normal community members.
Right, normal community
Sure,
members.
sure.
So that would be one thing that I'd want to change.
Real quick
saying that-
question about what was the other thing you said? I'm sorry.
There was a staff member that was hired to support the CFOC. It's actually has been paid through the CFOC money. So I'm
Yeah,
guessing,
not necessarily to support the CFOC, but I thought they were the accountant for the actual millage money.
Part of their salary is Paid with the millage money, not all of it, but
Okay.
part of it was.
Okay.
Yes.
But it was to help to do the accounting
It's to
for
tell the
that
accounting.
extra money. Okay.
For the ref.
And they were providing data, help providing data
did.
to the CFOC, am I
Sure.
correct?
Yeah.
But I would,
Because they attended the meetings with information for them.
I would say though, if we're gonna use a firm now moving forward,
That they don't have to do that.
that firm should be the one that CFOC is asking
Correct.
data.
Right.
Now that firm is then gonna go to that person and say, hey, give me this,
Yeah. Just like any other audit.
just like any other auditing function
Audit
that we've been doing.
function,
Right.
They come
Okay.
in, they submit, ask for data,
Sure.
the populations, all that kind
Okay. So there still will be someone for that millage.
of. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah. And when you go back to talking about the union representatives, they were non-voting. They did.
They're already ex officio.
They were already non-voting members, so I would be in favor of not bringing them onto this committee now because they do benefit from the millage. And that was why the committee and the
Their
board.
membership does, but yeah.
Right, right. That, why, but they represent that membership, so they've got a big group behind them.
Yeah, no, I
So,
get
right,
it.
so I think that, yeah, I don't, they're more than welcome to come and speak publicly, but I don't think they should be included in here like they were before.
Okay.
Yeah. Are we going on to the next section
Yeah,
now?
sure.
Or, okay, administrative. The CFAC will meet as the need arises. Who determines when that need is? The committee? The new committee, the audit committee? I mean, when are they planning to meet? And it even goes on to that after, and they will report to the board after each meeting. So if they have a meeting, the CFAC, which is the audit and CFOC, are gonna have a meeting, and there's an audit committee meeting scheduled for next week, right? Yeah,
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay. So do they come to the board after this committee meets?
I think
On a
if you,
workshop.
Yep,
I've been coming to workshops and
Right.
telling you, giving you an update
okay,
with the selection of the new superintendent and everything else that was going on with the start of the school. I was asked to wait until after
okay,
our September meeting to come to you, but I think I'm scheduled in mid-September at one of your
Yeah.
workshops
Okay,
to
right.
come bring
Right.
you up to date. We have actually went to coming after every meeting instead of trying to do it 4 times a year. That
Right.
we're not always sequential. But again, the demands on your time was so severe this month that
okay.
we've agreed to wait till after the next meeting.
And I like the administrator that the CFAC will select their chair and vice chair annually of the composition of this 3 to 9. I guess we're at the 3 to 9. And then the CFAC members will not conduct field work or any type of auditing, legal or accounting reviews or procedures on their own. I just want the community to hear this. Request for information from the district staff as part of the work by the CFAC should be made by the auditors. So that goes back to the initial comment that anything, that RSM will be the hub. So any member of the CFAC that wants information on any particular fund, any particular school, or any particular area of focus, whether it's arts, athletics, sports, well, I just said athletics, but, or STEM, yeah, I'm trying to get there. Any of those categoricals that we put millage dollars and tax dollars into. So is that the direction you're saying we were gonna go? That we would go through that?
Yeah, it'd be a very clear flow of information.
A very clear
What-
path of how everything's gonna
Clear
flow.
path of request
Yeah.
and then fulfillment, yeah.
Okay. And I'll stop for now and let, if you have others that
And
are,
it actually covers that above there's a few edits
right,
there.
right, I saw that. I just wanted to make sure that we are transparent with what we're doing with this committees.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right,
I think that having the central, I think having that language in there and knowing,
Right.
like our standard operating procedures to go through the auditing firm that we're paying for, right?
right,
To make sure we're going through there every time, and we know if it's not being fulfilled, we know where it went through, right? Yeah,
right, and then, I mean, we have this so broken down, external audit services, and then the next section's internal audit services. So, and then we go down to cybersecurity, and then we get into the mission of the surtax. So, I don't know if, like, that mission on the surtax and a mission of the CFOC was blended up here or not, but I just thought the way, it was a little clunky for me when I saw how this laid out, if that's a good word. But the mission should be, I think, underneath the other mission. Those two missions should be blended. See what I'm saying, Mr. Kennedy? Like on the first page, it says, I've got the one that's not redlined. It says the mission, and then if you go to the following pages, it says mission, sales, surge tax. So there's two different missions for one committee.
Oh, I see what you mean.
well, because we don't know if the surtax or the millage will be around, right? But we could still have an audit committee. So if those two things were never around anymore, we just have to take that, just that second section, what you're talking about.
Right.
We could just remove that, right? Because that part of that mission's gone, but their top mission is still gonna be there, which is to provide oversight for the internal and external audit functions. So if the community were ever to say, we're not doing the millage anymore, they vote no on the surtax, we still have a CFAC.
Right,
They're just not looking at those two things anymore. They're still in charge of RSM or whoever else, CRI, or whoever else it would be at that point. So I think the mission as a whole is different because we have those extra millage and surtax on there.
I have an idea
Yeah.
for this too. What if instead of mission on the first page, we titled that purpose?
okay, that might
That
be a
work?
better word. There you go.
Mission 1, mission 2. No, I'm not suggesting we number the missions, but since they're two very different reports.
Right,
Sorry.
No, I have not. I just want to make sure I'm not overlooking Ms. Felt. Okay.
Okay, yeah, good.
As a
Yeah.
question, hand up or not.
yeah. That's a good
Purpose and mission,
recommendation,
sure.
a purpose, because you do have the mission for surtax, sales tax, and the mission for the referendum. So, okay, that works better, because you have three different missions there.
good catch.
And it was a little confusing to me.
Didn't think about it.
Yeah, so, yeah. I just want to make sure that we don't, discredit the work that the CFOC chair has done.
Of course not.
Yeah, and there's a few little, I talked to Mr. Dye, there's some typographicals that I caught when I was reviewing this that needs to be fixed, but,
I guarantee you
Yep.
they're mine. I can't write anything without a bunch of.
oh, you're great. Don't worry about it. You did it. I mean, this was a lot of information. And then the red line, that we got today, or was here today.
Yeah.
So, but it takes a lot. It takes a lot, and I just want to say thank you to you and the work
Yeah,
you've
both.
done on
Yeah.
this, and to Mr. Dye, and
For sure.
the conversations I've had with him have been beneficial
Well,
in trying to
we-
get this done.
So
When we get to a final product, I promise we'll fix the formatting,
Okay,
because it's got so many underlying codes from being changed
Yeah,
over the years that
Right.
it literally
Yeah.
won't let you do certain things.
Right. We need a clean copy.
Yeah.
So
And that's
Clean
part of
copy.
why it looks kind of funky, like you were talking about.
yeah, different fonts and
Yeah.
so we have a direction, I think, of where we're wanting to go.
We do.
We don't need to vote on any approval yet because it's not the finalized.
no,
No,
Deal.
it's just a discussion.
Okay, perfect. I don't see any other board members lit up to discuss, but I repeat what Ms. Bray said. Thank you very much, Ms. Kearney, for working on that.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
it's my pleasure. If I may, with the direction of the board, I can take tonight's edits, bring it back to
Sure.
our next regular meeting?
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
one thing I would ask from the committee is we get down at the end of the mission 1 mil reference at the bottom of that page, the last sentence says, "The CFAC shall provide guidance and oversight of the internal auditor's production of an annual report to satisfy the legal requirements of the above resolutions." What we've been doing is bringing it to our committee and then approving the recommendation to you to accept it. And I don't see that language or that process in here, and I would dearly like to keep it because what are nothing but your agents and want to bring you that, but we also go through an approval process. As these reports are being done, the auditors are coming back and reporting status to the entire committee. So the community members have a chance, even if they're not assigned to that particular engagement, to question, to see, to encourage. We've had them go back based on those meetings, but at the end, we have a formal vote to approve it being recommended to you. And I don't know if we need that in here or not. I'll defer to Mr. Badai, but I just think you might want to formalize how it comes to you, if that's necessary.
Mr. Daniels, could you restate kind of what your suggested?
Well, as we engage the auditors, they come back to our committee. When the report is done to our satisfaction as a committee, we vote for it to be formally approved by us to recommend it taking to you for approval, to the board.
The annual report is what we're talking about, right?
I'm sorry?
The annual report?
Anything.
Right, okay.
Any report we do.
Okay, okay.
We vote on it ourselves, and then once that's done, we meet with your staff to find out when we can get it on the workshop, get it on the board,
And then you come and present.
and then we come present it.
Yeah.
But all we're doing is recommending to you, but I think we need to formalize that process a little bit.
Okay.
Otherwise, it just might be loose, or make sure,
Okay.
if it's
I understand what you're
necessary. But
Yeah.
just, we're kind of making it up on the fly to a certain extent, and I would rather.
Because I would just language in there, instead of the CFAC shall provide guidance and oversight, we really should say the CFAC should approve. And in the internal
Recommend
auditor's
approval.
production, recommend approval to the board of the internal auditor's production of an annual report to
But-
satisfy.
But I would encourage it maybe to be in the administrative area, that anything we bring to you has had that happen.
Okay? Gotcha.
Not because we do the same thing with the sales tax, we do it if we're looking at facilities or anything else.
Right.
That we've approved the recommendation to you.
Okay.
That makes it so there's no argument on our behalf about what we're supposed to do, or have we
Right.
done what we're supposed to.
Okay.
So all reports from the committee to the board have to go through a majority vote.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. And then sent, and then presented to us at a workshop or whatever.
Wherever
meeting.
you feel is best.
I heard a ding, though. I think that was Miss Felton.
Nope, not me, I'm fine.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Heard a ding, sorry. Okay, does that make sense, Mr. Dye, what
Yes.
he just said?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect
Thank you.
sense.
Okay.
Let's go.
Anything else, Mr. Daniels? No?
I want to commend Mr. Kennedy, the way he's taken this and run with it. It's been tough. We've had various meetings. We've had phone calls, meeting with Ms. Spray and members of the CFOC, and it really has been a group effort, and I think you're going to end up with a good product when we're done here. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Yep.
it. All right, that's it for our items so far. So let's go ahead and move, because that wasn't a, we're just discussing that. It'll come back to us and vote on another time. Updates, instructional update.
I'll be brief because we had such
Cool.
a robust early learning update, but I just want to thank our students, families, teachers, administrators, support staff, and district team for an incredibly successful start to the school year. From the bus waving to the opening weeks of Lake Manatee and Harvey K-8 at North River Ranch, our students are in class ready to learn, and our schools are firing on all cylinders. So I'm very excited about the 2025-26 school year. As you know, our district administrators spend the first day spread out to all schools to support first day operations. You may also know that I have a high school science teaching background and administrative background, but I got the privilege of spending the first day at Palmview, which included my first experience supervising kindergarten lunch duty on the first day of school, which only heightens my level of respect and awe for the teachers of our pre-K students and kinder students who just make magic happen, transforming those students into readers who are prepared for school and just great classroom citizens in a very short period of time. Also, because it's the new start of a school year, this is the last meeting before state Progress Monitor 1 testing starts over the next 3 weeks.
Oh, my goodness.
So K2 ELA starts next week. 3 through 10 ELA testing is the second week of September, and 3 through 8 math testing is the third week of September. So just something to remember, and our students are gonna start the year successfully, and we'll use that data to make decisions throughout the course of the year. And then thanks again to Dr. Marasco and Ms. Nichols for an incredible presentation today, I thought, and their incredible work. But another person who is heavily involved in our early learning push is Dr. Sheila Halpin over our early learning department. Her impact looms large in the district. And part of that is the Soren 4 lab that we're ready to have a ribbon cutting for on September 19th at 9 a.m. Public. And of course, school board members are invited to it, located on the Harley campus. And following that ceremony, families are welcome to stay and enjoy the open play time in our brand new space. We look forward to that amazing event. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to skip operations because superintendent's going to do that in his legal.
Steve. Yeah, I've got a report on the status of the issue with the tax collector claiming a commission on the voted millage. Just to update the board, the attorneys for the tax collectors issued a legal opinion that supports their position that they feel the tax collector should be able to get a commission from the 2% commission from the referendum millage funds. But in discussions with them and in review of their opinion, it's not, their position is not clearly supported by the statute. General counsel and myself came up with the opposite opinion, that we did not see any basis for the tax collector receiving that commission. We've had informal discussions with the legal counsel for the tax collector, who I know quite well. They are going to proceed with asking the Attorney General's office for an opinion, and get an opinion from the Attorney General if they'll issue one, on interpreting the statute. The other avenue is you could file for declaratory judgment locally with a circuit court. Neither of these two processes are super fast. The Attorney General opinion is likely quicker than getting a judicial resolution. In the judicial resolution, you have a bench trial, which means no jury, and the judge is asked to make an interpretation of the law. It doesn't have a lot of discovery like most civil cases where you have witnesses and you take depositions and all that. It's more of a legal argument by attorneys to a judge. And then it's just a local opinion at a circuit judge level. This issue is bigger than just our county. The same issue has developed now in Sarasota County, where that tax collector would like to also take a commission on their referendum funds, which hasn't been going on. Their referendum's been going on for over 20 years. And just recently did this come up down there. I don't know if it was because of the issue in Manatee County. Factually, up until now, the county has been paying a commission on the school district referendum funds. And I don't know what led to the funds being separated out, where the county decided they shouldn't be paying them. The statute is clear that the county pays a tax collector commission on the non-voted millage funds. So they do pay that on those funds that do go to the school district. So it's not a great situation. It's a lot of money at stake. 2% of the total millage amount each year. The way we interpret the statute is the tax collector, no matter who pays it, doesn't have to pay just a flat 2%. It's whatever their actual costs are, up to 2%. And in just these informal discussions, I don't think they know what their costs are.
Right.
I mean, we know what the costs are when as a analogy, when we used to do special elections, the supervisors of election had a fee that the school district would pay because they knew how many little ballots they had to print and poll workers they had to hire. So they knew an amount.
Yeah.
But the tax collectors already got the equipment and staff. So I'm not quite sure how they determine how this additional work costs extra money. So that's a whole nother issue on top of who has to pay it. But their position's basically somebody's got to pay it. And it really comes down to probably the county or the school district. I mean, it could be that nobody pays it and they just have to do it, but because they're already collecting the non-voted
Right.
millage. The unfortunate, but we're gonna work to get it resolved. So
Thank
that's
you.
the status. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Check, can I just
Yeah,
ask
absolutely.
couple quick questions? Attorney Dye, what roughly, and I know this could go many different ways, but what do you think is the time frame for some kind of resolution or an answer from some judicial body?
Well, I haven't asked for a Attorney General opinion in quite a while. Do you? have you had
There
a-
haven't been any Attorney General opinions issued in the last year and a half
Is that due
on
to,
any issue.
Is that due to lack of asking or the?
I can't answer that. I don't
Gotcha.
know.
Okay,
if
we just
there-
haven't seen any.
But it would be unusual not to have the Attorney General ask an opinion about some area of law in the last 18 months. But I'm being told that right now there have not been any Attorney General opinions issued on any issue.
I'm thinking, just guessing, I may be wrong, but I'm thinking 90 days.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious, and I'm not going to hold anybody to.
And I mean,
this.
that's,
just for the people that are interested in this issue.
well, and part of that is because I
expectations.
think it's an important statewide issue.
Right.
Right. There's 20-some counties that now have this millage, really, that have popped up over the last 6 to 8 years.
And I think the Tax Collector Association's now involved.
So so all 20-some counties are going to.
They have a little office in Tallahassee where they lobby and stuff. So so I think it'll be seen as a matter that's of statewide importance. So so I think it's not just some sheriff or mayor somewhere that has some internal thing that he wants answered. This is a little higher profile. So I think I'm hopeful, and actually we're going to have an attorney general, assistant attorney general at the seminar that Kevin and I are going to on Friday, that I'm going to ask, and sort of pick her brain on what she thinks as far as the timing. And I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, great, thank you.
And I'll just jump in there and say, since we just talked about Friday, I wrote it down for Friday. I think it should be part of our legislative issues.
Yes.
Is let's get that tweaked, looked into, whatever. I don't care. They come back and say we pay it, somebody pays it, but let's get this kind of like wishy-washy out of that statute, which I think it is. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of,
The statute could use some improvement.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Superintendent?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, board. I'll start with operations. Thank you, board, and for the community so that they know some of the items in the consent agenda that you approved are very important to the community, especially out in the East County. You approved today the beginning of building an addition at Lake Manatee K-8. That is the academic building that was in plans and potentially could have been built years from now, but considering what's going on, we're going to build that building and get it done by next August. So you just started to initiate that process. So Lake Manatee K-8 will be a full K-8 next August with all its buildings as planned. So thank you for that. And I'm sure that community will thank you for it as well. Also, in what you also just approved in the consent agenda when it comes to operations is the last academic building for the North River Ranch campus at Barbara A. Harvey K-8. So you initiated that process, and that academic building and some 500 student stations will begin with the goal of being open by next August. We're going to try our best to get that done. Unlike Lake Manatee, where we've got our construction management team already on campus, so they can get started on that, and permits are already live, we've got to start the permitting process again on Barbara Harvey. So I may have to work some of our friends in the county to see if we can expedite some of those permits. But the Barbara A. Harvey community in East County should know that thanks to you all, we're going to build out full that campus and be ready at some time next school year, which will be great for what's going on out there in that growth. So thank you for that in the consent agenda today, and I think that's important for the community to know that, again, you all are staying up to growth, and we're doing what we can to build great quality schools out in the East County. Lastly, in the operations update, I would just mention that just want to thank all of the parents and the community for your patience, especially when it comes to our buses. I think we've had one of our best starts with buses and busing this year. We keep improving every day. There were some hiccups, as always, here and there, but safety-wise, we're doing great work. Safety-wise, our buses have been running well, and we've had a great safety record so far. I'm proud of that, and we'll keep improving our system. But it's definitely much better, and just really want to thank the whole transportation team and our buses and bus aides out there who are working hard, working through traffic in that afternoon to get our kids home as fast as possible for dinner time. So thank you for that. Lastly, I would mention, in general, we had our Deputy Superintendent of Instruction said, we had a great start to the school year. And it's really an exciting school year, and I think you see that when you get to our schools, and you see that in the community. And I think today, with your approval of a new superintendent, like some of you shared, I think it's a great catalyst for this county, and really something to rally behind. And I know I am, and my colleagues and teammates are very excited to welcome a new superintendent. Who we now, with your vote, now know, and so we know well, and we're excited to get to work for and with Dr. Breslin, and we're excited for that. So thank you, board, for a very transparent and open process, and I think the community can look back at this and be very proud about that process and be very proud about the outcome, and having one of their own be the superintendent of this great school system is really a testament to where this county is headed. So thank you, board, and like the chair said, there's more to come when we approve that contract, and I can switch seats, but we're really excited, and Lori actually asked for permission to go home. I said, I don't know, do you still ask me for permission? But I said, go home and celebrate and get with your family. I'm sure they all want to see you and celebrate with you. So we're excited, and thank you, board, for a very good meeting. So thank you.
Thank you. Board comments. Tatum, Felton, Kenny, Spray, Choate. Tatum.
I'll make it quick since it's late. So heat stroke, we actually had a student, I think, at one of our schools that had a little heat incident. So keep an eye on that. And there's heat exhaustion, but you need to be very careful. If you get into heat stroke, then you're not sweating anymore. So if you're out there and you're hot, you're not sweating, it's time to seek medical attention. So there you go. Safety tip for the day. Mr. Chapman, is this your last meeting as this sitting in that chair?
No, I think there's one more when we approve the new superintendent's contract. So
Okay.
September 9th is probably the last meeting.
All right, well, then I will tell the story of Cincinnatus as
Yes.
we depart, right?
Yes.
You and I have talked about before, but I'll pass on that tonight. We will save it for another time. That's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. Felton?
Yes, I just wanted to let the board know I had the pleasure of going to the HCA ER ribbon cutting in Parrish on Friday, and together with students and staff from Parrish Community High School. If you'll remember, in December, HCA and the Manatee Education Foundation came together and presented Parrish Community with a grant for their health services programming. And so students from their health services and allied health programs, along with Assistant Principal Mr. Champagne and nursing teacher April Thornton, all joined together and came to the ribbon cutting. We had 9 teenagers there, all in their scrubs, and they got to do a tour of the ER and check out all the equipment, and it was a really nice time. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And also, I want to thank Ms. Cox and everybody in the booth for keeping me online today for this meeting. I appreciate it very much, and that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Ms. Kennedy?
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be very brief. Just more thanks, kind of repeating what's already been said. But Mr. Chapman, thank you for being our bridge this summer and doing it so well. And you know, the superintendent is one of our few employees, and probably the most important thing that we do as a board. And so this, to me, is like one of my proudest moments as a board member. This being my third time around with this, but tonight is really special for me. I talked about it earlier, and I won't repeat myself, but I really share the optimism that I think a lot of people in this building, in this school district, and this community share right now. And I just, want to again thank the community for all the input they give us, not just the input they give us on this search, but when you feel like we mess up, let us know. And when you feel like you want to advocate for something, let us know. And now that things are kind of settling in on the school year, I'm going to start getting around to just check in on schools and principals. If you're listening out there, if you've got something going on at school, please invite us. And because that's, just in the presentation, just the pictures of the kids and the presentation is always the best part. The information's amazing too, but it's the power of the kids that drive this district. So really looking forward to what's ahead of us. So thanks, Chad.
Thank you. Ms. Bray?
Too will be brief. I want to say the student celebrations. When you look at that, and then we're talking about the presentation on reading games. We're taking kids and we're molding them to be productive adults. When you look at it that way, that's what our role is here. And that's what we're doing. We're bringing these young little beings into our classrooms, and we're teaching them how to read, write, hold a pencil, and just acclimate into being in a group environment. Because some of these students have never been in a group environment, into what we had today for student celebrations. all of those national competitions that we brought back to Manatee County. So that's how I'm gonna end I did go to the football game Friday night at Manatee High. Got rained out, of course, storm, but that's always exciting. It kind of kicks off the season for football for me as the first home game there. Plan to go see other games as well. But you're right, Mr. Kennedy. Picking a superintendent is probably one of the biggest roles that we get. And we have to get that right. Sometimes we don't get that right. Sometimes we get it a little wrong. Sometimes we fix it. But this time, I think we got it right for our community, our schools, and being home-based, I think is going to be, it's going to prove to be we got the right one. So I'm all good with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tired.
All right. Yeah, thank you to staff getting everything ready today. Really appreciate it. I know that you guys are the heroes that goes into making the meetings. Ms. Chapman as well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And board, I know we've got the Greater Florida Consortium next couple of days, and then we've got a workshop on Friday. So we'll see you on Friday, everybody. Have a good evening. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Is Patty coming Friday?
I just asked her and she hadn't replied.
I just realized.